Hello and welcome everyone to the Let's Be Real podcast. We have a special episode today. We are on our 99th episode.
Yes, sir.
One more to 100. It's a seminal moment. It is. I am your host today, Kyan, and I am here with James and Nayan. How we doing, lads?
All good.
Doing good. It's cool to see you hosting again.
I know.
Very natural.
Out of retirement after 2 years.
Thank you. On today's episode, we've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of topics, and we've got a lot of games, and we've got a lot of discussions and conversations and debates and all these sorts of things. For the news, we've got Alex Garland making an Elden Ring movie with A24. We've got the recent movie delays and what it means for the industry. We've got a discussion about the movie Tarrifs. And on the more of the conversations, we've got a movie quiz show. We've got the future release slate. Our final thoughts on the movie industry as we're wrapping up this podcast. Ranking our best screening events we ever attended, the best and the worst. We've got some not-so-quickfire conversations, the movies that made us, also the movies that made us who we are. Unresolved movie debates, movie opinions that we were wrong about, and 3 movies for the rest of your life. So, let us begin.
Let's do it.
First off, what have we been watching recently?
Me and Nan, we've watched the first 2 How to Train Your Dragon movies. Just kind of getting ready for the live action one.
Nice.
We finished The Studio. We've
Yes.
just kind of been watching the same thing. So we
Yeah.
watch it all together. Yeah, we're all caught up on The Last of Us, and we really need to watch Andor.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's pretty shit.
Pardon?
Oh,
No, we're joking.
don't eat those words like you did the first time.
I think we're at the point where it gets good, at least by like those episode ratings. So
Yes, yeah. When you go over that hump and it all comes together, you go, oh, okay, I get it now. And, I'm telling you right now, as soon as you finish Andor, you're going to want to watch Rogue One. It's an impulsion. It's an impulse.
Did you watch Rogue One?
Yeah, right after.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
Like you
we're gonna
have to
do that.
You have to.
like you have to.
Yeah, like you feel like you have to. Like it feels like it's Rogue One is a conclusion. So, yeah.
I haven't seen it since the release, so it'll be good to...
Whoa, you haven't seen it at all. Probably good. Probably for the best. Yeah.
Yeah, Rogue One is actually a movie we felt quite strongly about not enjoying.
No, yeah. I think like coming out of it, we were like, we didn't want to hate it because Star Wars was just on a real heater at that point. You know, you had The Force Awakens, but then I think we both knew like deep down that, yeah, this was not good.
It was just not structured well.
Yeah, because I remember we went to the screening and then I went to the midnight release with my family and I fell asleep in it straight away. And I never would have done that in like The Force Awakens or something. So
100%.
yeah.
All right, so I've been watching Murder Bot with Alexander Skarsgård. It's okay.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little whimsical. It's very like, he doesn't really talk much in it. It's like all narrated in his head kind of thing. But it's okay. It's okay.
Sounds like something in the Megan verse.
Yeah. It's kind of set way more in the future though. It's like space.
Is it literally like a murder robot?
Not really. He's like chill as. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the topics. So the first topic of today is Alex Garland. We just announced that he's making an Elden Ring movie with A24. Now, you guys... Wait, you played Elden Ring, haven't you, Nate? No, you haven't.
No,
Okay.
we're newbies to this.
Elden Ring is kind of... it's this... it's by the creators of like Dark Souls and stuff,
Yeah.
the video game.
Very
and it
difficult
was
games.
Very, very difficult games. But it was also co-created by George R.R. Martin. And it's weird because this game was made like 4 years ago, and they're already launching a movie about it. And it's the weirdest thing to do because, it's high fantasy. We're talking like super high fantasy stuff where you need to construct the most like fantastical worlds to do it. It's just strange to me that A24 and Alex Garland have come on board to take this on.
I'm very surprised that A24 in general picked it up.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's not their kind of like style.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not their style at all. But we have seen in recent years they've been shifting more to these blockbustery, higher budget productions.
Mainstream sort of stuff.
Is this going to be like their first like official like big boy?
I would say that this is going to be their most expensive film for
Yeah.
sure.
But like I don't know, running on like the history of A24's budgets, like this, at least from what I've seen in the footage of it, this could easily be like a $200 million budgeted movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like A24 will still. I still don't think they'll cross the 100 million mark. I think 80 million or something they'll go for this. I don't know if they have like kind of the resources to. Here's 200. I don't even know if they have that money to finance a movie.
I think that you can maybe get away with making a film like this on like the same budget as like The Creator, which was like 120.
100 million, yeah.
100 to 120.
Yeah.
And I think that you can get away with it. I mean, it's very expensive, a lot of CG in it.
Yeah.
But, you know, with it being Alex Garland, maybe he has something in mind for it. You know, like I wouldn't expect him to take a project on like this unless he had something like very specific in mind for it, like a vision.
Right.
You know, so yeah, he's really good at pulling out like great visuals for the cost. You know, like Ex Machina won Best Visual Effects that year at the Oscars on a budget of like 4 million.
15 million.
15 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just looking at the breakdown now because I think it's very interesting. Because his most expensive film,
Civil War.
yeah, which was 50 million, which is for A24 as well. Annihilation was 40 million. And so, yeah, they're not exceeding that kind of 50 million mark.
Which is incredible because they all look
Very good.
They all look like they're probably cost. Like Annihilation in particular to me looks like it cost about 120.
Yeah, I think he's very good and resourceful as a director to make a movie look like higher than it actually is.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's just a guy that can kind of run things in a way that makes it feel and look like that. But yeah, I'm just reading here. It is expected to be A24's most expensive project. Yeah, so
Unsurprising.
if they give him 200 million, he can make it look like a 250, 300 million.
He really could, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
it's,
would he cheap out because he was like, oh, I have all this resources, so we can just use cheap CGI and put it
I
into
don't
something
think so.
else?
I think he'll just use like a lot of practical effects, like you know, it's kind of like what Andor does, where they use like a lot of real sets, and then they just put some CG in the background to like sort of ground it all.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what he'll do a lot of. So yeah,
it's going to be interesting. Just I heard, I think, was it last year or the year before that he's done with directing and he only does right now, and I just keep hearing him constantly like he's attached to this, and it's just like.
and now he's doing more movies than ever before.
Yeah, like-
but he's also producing really quality stuff. Like he's done Civil War, and then he just did a Warfare, which both back to back are great movies. Like Warfare was awesome.
Yeah.
Like if you watch it, it's just this like tension filled nugget of just like it feels like a horror movie with the amount of tension in it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just super well made.
That's one I need to watch.
Yeah. But yeah, on to the next topic. So the recent movie delays kind of came as a surprise to us yesterday. We got it was announced that both Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars was delayed, as well as Michael. Now this is all being shifted now to 2026.
Michael moved to 2026.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Doomsday moved from its May position to the December position. And same with Secret Wars for the year of 27. So,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so we're getting, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, based on the fact that they've only just started shooting now, you know, let's say the shooting goes for 4 months, right?
Yeah.
You know, with the amount of,
And that's ambitious.
that's ambitious.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 months shooting. Usually it's 6 months for an Avengers film. Like you spend half your year shooting.
Because all the schedules and getting the cast. Yeah,
Correct.
the
They're
right
just such big movies,
Yeah.
and they're in so many different locations. So yeah, let's say 6 months. By the end of the, you know, maybe they wrap up November, right? Shooting.
Yeah.
Then you've got this enormous amount of post production. You know, and you want to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
You can't rush it.
No, you can't. Not with those movies as well. Like, there's been so much like talk, obviously, about like MCU and the quality of it. If you fuck up these next two Avengers movies, I think you've doomed the franchise to hell. I just don't think there's no coming back from a box office and audience reception point. Like,
Yes.
if both those Avengers movies are bad and they rush it, then, yeah, I think the general movie-going public is just going to be fully off those movies and into other stuff. So,
Really good point.
Yeah.
I still think both films will hit $1 billion. Even if it's shit, it's going to make over $1 billion. So I think the way that the studios will see that is it's making $1 billion. People clearly like it.
But is it
And they were
$1 billion
like,
enough for 2 Avengers films?
No. No, absolutely.
not
It's
really.
not enough to satisfy Disney.
Yeah.
They're probably expecting $2 billion, to be honest.
They are expecting
Absolutely.
$2 billion. I think, like, I knew they were going to get delayed. I just felt like they had to because I was super worried about this kind of rushed production, and pushing it back was absolutely the right move. But in terms of like MCU being in that Disney slot, that's very, very surprising. I thought they'd just push them both back a year, and maybe that was the better option. But only Spider-Man: No Way Home is the only MCU movie to release in December. And now Doomsday is going to do it. I always said before, on recent podcasts as well, that Doomsday will struggle to get to 2 billion. I don't even know if it will get to 2 billion. Mm-hmm. I think now it secures 2 billion pretty easily. That holiday period does so much. I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home, 1.9 billion in that time
COVID
frame.
period.
Yeah.
Like that holiday period just adds like so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to get a big boost from that. And Secret Wars, Doomsday's great. It's going to be, It's gonna be interesting.
And then Michael as well moving.
Yeah.
I think there's so many like controversies and pretty much red flags with this movie that was always going to end up being delayed anyway. Especially where they had to reshoot the entire third act.
Yeah, because of the whole legal side of it, which I don't even
Yeah.
know how you mess that up.
Insane.
Yeah, but Michael getting pushed back's the right move as well. You want a movie about Michael Jackson with this kind of like budget behind it. You want to like make it as much of a masterpiece as possible. Put enough polish on it. You can't have these movies been rushed. I don't think that movie. I think actually does have $1 billion potential if it's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
First biopic to get $1 billion.
Yeah, fucking Bohemian Rhapsody, bro, like over 900 million.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absurd.
Over Queen.
Yeah. Okay, on to the next topic. Well, actually, let's talk a little bit about Devil Wears Prada replacing this, because I actually I think that this could be a $500 million film.
100%.
Yeah, like at minimum.
I saw it and I was like, that's weird because that's like a tentpole release date, the start of May, start of the summer blockbuster season.
Yeah.
And all these big movies always start it. And I thought about it. I'm like, Devil Wears Prada has like, it was popular in its day. It still has kind of like this reputation and people are still watching it now. And they
Yes.
still love it now. And I'm like, when women go to like the cinema and they all like, all want to be in one film or like go to one film, those movies actually go big.
They go huge.
They can go very big. Like we saw what happened with Barbie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for that to be a $500 million movie for sure.
Well, even something like, for example, the most profitable movie last year was It Ends With Us.
It wasn't the most profitable.
Relative to its budget.
Nah, because there's like all these other things added on. I think Deadline did it, and it was Inside Out 2, and then Moana.
Oh,
But
okay.
it ends with us. Yeah, it was profitable by a lot, but there's so much controversy with that movie. I don't know. If
Oh, of course there is. But
yeah.
even despite all the controversy,
It still made bank.
exactly.
Controversy probably helped it, but I would have rather have seen Disney put Mandalorian and Grogu into that better spot, and then put Devil Wears Prada.
Completely forgot about that movie.
Yeah,
That's next year too, eh?
yeah. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to that one.
Okay.
good.
On to the next topic, movie tariffs. Now, recently, Donald Trump announced that there was potentially going to be a tariffs, 100% tariffs on movies made outside of the United States, i.e. not made in Hollywood. Obviously to prevent, jobs going outside of Hollywood and going overseas and all these tax breaks and stuff like that, to attract filmmakers producing stuff overseas. Now, if this were to go through, what you could see is either two realities, right? You could see a lot more people come back to the United States and start shooting in Hollywood, i.e. we get a lot more Hollywood-produced films.
Yeah.
Or we could see foreign films just simply not getting released in America.
It changes the entire landscape, I think.
It does.
Yeah.
It fundamentally changes the landscape.
Especially when foreign films are starting to like make themselves known ever since after Parasite as well within the mainstream market. Like if you kill that foreign film sort of thing, then a lot of the general audience probably won't ever watch a foreign film again.
Like the last 10 years for the international like film market has just exploded.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's caused it. I mean, obviously the quality's been great, but the quality's always been great with foreign movies. That's not a new thing. I mean, obviously Parasite brought a ton of attention to it, but I think just like streaming and the accessibility side of it has made just movies so much more like universal now, not just from this one country, that being America and Hollywood. So
Like K-dramas, for example, like those are so popular, people don't even realize how popular they are. They're like some of these K-dramas are like the number one like streamed thing, like in like all these random countries you wouldn't expect. You know, it's like Samoa K-drama is the most popular thing. It's like what? You know, it's like really random.
But it's such a great thing. I mean, I get that like there's so much content now, and like it's hard to kind of keep up with it all. But like, you're just so spoiled for choice these days. And I think just putting like tariffs on this and making this kind of like a political thing, which is what Donald Trump's trying to do. That kind of like, I don't know, it kind of goes against the entire point of filmmaking and what they're meant to be. They are universal experiences, and taking it away just to centralize it in America, I just don't think that's the right thing. But I also understand it because from what I've read that I think in LA like it's gone down 48% or something, like the film and TV production, and so the jobs have gone. So I get trying to look after your own citizens. I just think there needs to be kind of a different kind of incentive rather than just banning things that are shot outside of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And like, what about stuff like Mission Impossible? Like this most recent one, I don't think it was set in America at all. It was mainly.
He's right.
Like
I mean,
shot in
it was
America?
probably
Yeah, it was-
all shot overseas in Europe.
So does that count as an American? Funny is here, American film or a foreign film?
No, because it was shot overseas.
Yeah.
It's still an American film. It's
But
still
what-
American made.
What if pre-production and post-production's in America, and then it's produced and distributed by American companies?
I think it's just about where it's shot.
So then that's just a loophole because everyone can just film wherever they want as long as they go back to America to do the post-production, right?
Yeah, but the post-production and pre-production gives jobs.
That is true.
Yeah. And same with the producing and the distribution. Like, I think shooting outside of America should be allowed. And if we're going to, if they have to be tariffs,
I absolutely agree. I think it should be allowed because how else are you going to get variety in your films? And also, what happens is that you end up creating a platform for movies to just all look the same and feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, in saying that, America is probably, like, in terms of nature and locations, the most diverse out of any other country, besides perhaps maybe Russia, just due to the size of it. So I don't think I don't think that all look the same because there's so many places to go. But like, yeah, you are taking away like very unique landscapes that are very specific to places. I think like the Odyssey, where you're seeing this being shot, it's like whenever I see news about it, it's different place, different place. And I saw like the stunt guy saying like, they'll walk to this place and then they'll fly to this place, like just on a daily basis, just shooting in all these different locations. I think, that's the stuff I don't want to get rid of. I love when I see like when movies are shot in different locations, they just feel more real and I guess tangible with kind of our own reality.
Yeah, 100%. And like, America is really diverse, you're right. But it's also, there's only so much land there and there's only so much visual landscapes that you can pull
Isn't it like
from.
the third biggest country in the world? And you can't even shoot in half Canada because it's just frozen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 100%. I mean, you've got like the Nevada desert, where you can do your desert stuff. But again, like when people shoot there, you can tell it's there, right? Because you've seen it so much throughout movies. You'd be like, oh, that kind of just looks like it's in America. You go to like Tanzania or like the middle of like Africa. It's like you're not going to recognize. It's going to look like an alien landscape because
They're very specific stuff. But and I just mean in terms of like America, there's so much diversity. If they want like a desert or like a swampy area,
It's
or
true,
like
it's true.
icy place.
yeah.
I wonder what they'll do for us because having movies shot here is pretty big for us, New Zealand.
Yeah.
And that if our films are going to get taxed, like say Minecraft was shot here, and whatever other thing Jason Momoa is working on right now, where he's here shooting it as well.
Just random
Like,
series.
what's going to happen to those things? Or if Lord of the Rings, if this was to happen when Lord of the Rings, say Lord of the Rings is releasing now instead of back then,
Yeah.
what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tricky line to do it. I 100% do not agree with the tariffs, but
Yeah.
I also understand what Trump's trying to do. He's just doing it a different way. Yeah.
All right. So we have a segment here for Movie Quiz Showdown. This is a segment.
It
Can you
is.
take us away? What is this quiz showdown?
Oh, and James is finally going to get his goddamn answer in regards to what's his piece of paper.
Why do I have this pen?
Before air, he was going about, why do I have this piece of paper? And I was like, I'll explain it to you in the podcast. And he just kept asking. Now he's going to fucking get his answer.
Yeah.
So this is called Movie Quiz Showdown. So it's pretty much a movie quiz for these guys. It's James versus Kyan. So I got some trivia facts and some special MG stuff in here as well. Yeah, so pretty much what you do, your name is your buzzer, first of all.
So I say James.
Yep.
Okay.
You only there are no multiple choice. It's one answer only. If you get it wrong, then it goes to the other person. If they get it wrong, we go to the next question. If you both say, or if you both buzz in at the same time, and I can't determine who got it, then that's where the piece of paper comes in. You guys write your answers and show it to me at the same time, and whoever is the winner gets the point. If you both get the same or correct answer, then it's 1 point. So it's 2 points for a correct answer and 1 point for a draw.
Okay.
And I was thinking of about deducting points if you get it wrong, but then I was like, no, that would be way too harsh.
Oh, yeah. Me.
So multiple choice.
No multiple choice.
Multiple choice. Oh, okay.
It's either you know it or you don't.
All right. Cool.
Cool. So first question is, which movie won the first ever Academy Award for Best Animated Feature introduced in 2002?
James. Shrek.
Correct. 2 points for James. Second question. Who became the first Asian woman to win Best Director at the Oscars and for which film?
James. Chloe Zhao. Nomadland.
Yeah.
Damn it. I couldn't think of the name.
James is out here 4-0.
I know. I suck at quizzes.
This is just like last week.
Yeah.
How many times has Leonardo DiCaprio been nominated for an Oscar for acting?
James.
Yeah.
5.
No.
8.
No. 6.
Yeah. I thought 5, 6.
So the films he was nominated for is What's Eating Gilbert Grape, The Aviator, Blood Diamond, Wolf of Wall Street, The Revenant, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Not Titanic.
Yeah, not Titanic.
Graceful.
All right, now we've got some movie quotes here.
Okay.
So the first quote is, "That's not flying, that's falling with style."
James. Toy Story.
Yeah.
Oh. No Toy Story that well.
Second one is, so this is how liberty dies with
Fine. Star Wars, The Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the board, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Star Wars is franchise, so.
It was, and he struggled there. He wasn't too
I
sure.
was just trying to make sure it was the right one.
All right. And the last quote is, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
I know the quote.
Yeah.
Can you read it out again?
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
I know the quote. I don't know.
I know the quote
the
as
movie.
well.
James. Usual Suspects.
Yes.
Actually.
Wow.
Was that just a stab in the dark guess?
I associate it with that movie for some reason, and I guess it's because
I've
it's the
never
right
seen
one.
The Usual Suspects.
Oh, haven't
What?
you?
Yeah.
I thought you would have.
No.
Have you
Well,
not
to
seen-
be-
how
to-
have you not seen that? That's a classic
know.
all-timer.
To be fair, I haven't seen it either, but I just thought that you would have seen it because you're the movie guy.
One of the greatest plot twists of all time.
All right. What was the first film to cross $1 billion at the global box office?
First movie.
Kyan. Gone with the Wind?
No.
James. Titanic.
Yes.
Gone with the Wind hasn't made $1 billion.
I thought it was relative.
Adjusted for inflation,
Yeah.
but not. It's not adjusted for inflation though.
Is it not?
No, the worldwide box office isn't adjusted. It's never adjusted for inflation.
What was the? So I'm just double checking.
It's Titanic. Gone with the Wind never made $1 billion.
I believe you. I'm just making sure that it's not part of. Yeah, Titanic. Yeah, no, fair enough.
He
Does
bel-
not trust you,
he-
man.
he-
I
he-
just again.
But
like,
he
I've
literally
seen
just
that-
said, "I believe you," but I had to fact check
Well,
anyway.
Again, because people argue like what was or wasn't the first. I've seen it argued before.
It depends how some people value the adjusted for inflation stuff.
Some people don't. That's just why I'm googling. What
But
the
official lists, they
consensus
always
is.
they disregard.
That
the
was my
inflation
first
thing.
thought was Titanic, but then I'm like, is this like a trick question? And it's like,
Right.
yeah.
Should have said Titanic.
No shit.
Should have gone with your gut, lad.
No, he should have gone with the Wind.
All right. Which R-rated movie held the highest opening weekend gross for several years before Deadpool broke the record?
Ryan, Passion of the Christ.
No.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Which R-rated movie held the highest opening weekend gross for several years before Deadpool broke the record?
Gosh, I would have guessed Passion of the Christ as well because that held the R-rated record for ages.
It did.
Blade.
No. The Matrix Reloaded.
Really?
Yeah, Matrix. Yeah, that's the second one.
Didn't know it was R-rated.
Is that
Me neither.
is Reloaded the second one?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Or is it Revolutions?
I thought Revolutions was.
What's the latest one that came out? Like
Resurrection? The birthplace of the Nay. All right. Which 2023 film was re-released due to meme popularity only to flop a second time at the
Kine.
box office?
Morbius?
Yes.
oh, was it?
Yeah, like released and it flopped and then it became a meme and then the studio was like, oh yes, maybe we got some popularity again. So they re-released it just for it to flop again.
Always Sony. I've never seen that movie.
You should, it's a meme movie.
I don't think I will. Never.
What Studio Ghibli film was the first to win an Academy Award?
Kine, Spirited Away.
Yes.
Oh.
Kind with the comeback, sort of. Which comedian voiced a zebra in a major...
James.
I hate Madagascar.
What's the zebra's name? Marty. What's the guy's name? Is it
Kine?
Chris Rock?
Yes.
Is that's his
Oh.
name? Yeah. I just got confused.
I thought
with
it
the
was
name.
Chris Rock. I was like, it's either Chris Rock or like David Schwimmer or whatever his name
That's
is.
the
No,
giraffe.
he's the
Right,
giraffe.
okay.
Yeah. What's the? I was just confusing his name. I'm glad I got it right.
I
though.
saw Madagascar once when I was a kid. Never seen it again.
What about the second or third one?
When I was a kid, I saw the second one. I
They
didn't
need
see-
live
never
action.
saw the third.
They need live action Madagascar.
I'll be hyped for that. Marty is the zebra's name.
Marty, yeah.
Yeah. Which... Oh, wait, no. I was about to read the same question. What film contains a recreation of The Shining in one of its virtual worlds?
Kine, Ready Player One.
Yep.
Does it?
Yep.
I cannot remember that movie at all. Sorry, Spielberg fans.
Cool. And now we get into some special questions based around MG. And so our experiences over the past however many years, since 2019 for me. So what was the first movie all three of us watched and reviewed?
James.
James?
I think I'm wrong, but Parasite.
No.
No, I was thinking Parasite as well. That was just
Yeah.
the first foreign film.
That was at the real start though. What was the? Yeah.
Kai, you got an answer?
I don't have an answer at all.
It was extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile.
Oh yeah, you remember that one?
I remember the movie. I don't remember that being the first movie we reviewed. I mean, I remember going to the. Did we?
Was it even a screening?
Did we
or
even
a
go to a
I
screening?
think it was a screener. It was the
Yeah.
first one when I first joined.
Yeah.
Really? Okay,
And,
I definitely wouldn't have remembered that.
I think our first screening, all three of us together, was John Wick 3.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's come back to me now.
All right. What is the scene where the police car meme was born?
Kine.
Yeah.
It was the Joker scene when he's at the end and he's putting his head out the window
James.
and jumping on the car. What?
No. You're half right and half wrong.
No, he's not. He's thinking of the Dark Knight.
No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not. I'm thinking of Joker.
Well, you're saying the scene completely wrong.
No, he's jumping on top of the car and he's spinning around and dancing on the car.
I'll give it to him.
You said like had his head out the window.
Yeah, that's from
which is the Dark Knight.
That's from the Dark Knight.
Yeah, but no, but he
He was looking out.
he
the
was
window.
looking out the window. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So that was for most memorable moment that year in 2019, and we were all trying to decide a name, and me without thinking just said police car because it was a police car, and then I immediately changed it to blood smile. But these guys heard police car, and it's been a meme ever since. In fact, they memed it before we even went on air today. So.
Still mean it to this day.
All right. What indoor venue could we watch a movie under the stars?
James Civic
Yeah.
Theatre.
Oh gosh.
That is one where I absolutely fucking hate going to the Civic to watch.
Funny, we memed that just before we jumped on the podcast.
I know, which is funny because I wrote all these topics this morning and then you guys started memeing. I was like, oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
All right. What premiere was Nayan Dine at?
James Katz.
Kyan, the the Rohan, Riders of Rohirrim.
What's it called?
Right.
The fucking Lord of the Rings War of Rohirrim.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Damn, I thought Katz was
Good
Yeah,
answer for
he had
cats.
major hay fever during the whole event.
I did, and I was in the wars. I
on the
even
walls for Katz as well.
This is true.
oh god, who is the actor where James asked if they have been here before?
James.
Oh, Kyan.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah. And that is funny.
I
Where
meant the Hobbit.
Oh, here we
'cause
go.
He hasn't shot a single scene there.
he did, I googled it. He actually did shoot some scenes in Hobbiton.
Was that the
Oh, no, he d-
start of the third one?
No, he shot, but as a producer, so he was on set while it was being shot, but he wasn't in any scenes himself.
Oh, right.
But yeah, we were there at the front of the red carpet getting signatures, and then James asked Andy Serkis, "Oh, have you been here before?" And then Andy Serkis
But he
was like,
took it as like New
About-
Zealand. He
no.
took it
Yeah.
as New Zealand though.
About Hobbiton.
Yeah.
Like being at Hobbiton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But James redeemed himself and got a photo.
Yeah,
end.
yeah. I had a good little chat with him, got a photo with him in the end. I just apologized. Like, no worries, mate. I didn't apologize.
Sorry for being such an idiot.
Yeah.
All right, what is the bar where we almost saw a cat fight before a movie?
James.
Iron
The Tap House.
Evandale Tap House.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we even want to explain that one?
Yeah, no, there's just a big bar fight between two ladies.
Oh yeah, that's
going
right.
at it.
Classic New Zealand.
Classic.
Yeah, we're in a sketchy part of town.
We were huntsmen. That's another area.
It is.
All right. What was the movie where Kine went over the top on donuts?
Kyan. Sonic.
Yeah.
James, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Actually,
Oh
I will give that one to James.
way!
You got the Avengers Tap House.
Fair enough.
So yeah, we went to the screening. They were giving away free Krispy Kreme donuts. So James and I, just went up and got one, and Kyan went up and got like 5.
Yeah, you.
I think it was more like
a stack.
3. Realistically,
I
it
think
was
he took
3.
the whole like box.
Oh, okay, no, this is getting ridiculous.
You literally went to a kid and stole a donut off them, and you're like, mine.
Any more than 2 should have been considered stealing. There's just no reason for one person to have 3 at least.
There is. You're hungry and they're free.
All right, and final question. What title was a front runner for our potty name before Let's Be Real?
Sorry?
What title was a front runner for our potty name before Let's Be Real?
James. Was it the Colonel Journal?
Yes, it was.
Oh, it's true. It was.
All right, so
Colonel Journal.
James, you finished on 20 points, and Kyan, you got 14.
Bloody hell.
Wow.
20 points to 14 to James.
Oh, that
Good
was
work.
That was good. I like that
Yeah,
one.
that was good.
Yeah.
You guys didn't even need the piece of paper after all.
Yeah.
There was no
What was the
drawers.
point
I
of
didn't even need it.
It was in the case of a drawer. I needed it.
You spent like 5 minutes introducing your segment by talking about this piece of paper that never got used.
I used my piece of paper. You just never used yours.
Okay, on to the next topic. James has got the future release slate to talk about. James, you want to take us
Yes.
away on this?
All right, I shall. Kyan stole about half my segment. where I was going to use it to talk about the future because I think, next podcast is going to be kind of more about the past and, going down memory lane as like a reflection on, our journey in the last like 10 years for me, 6 years for Nayan, through like movie games and stuff like that. So using this podcast to talk about the future, and we're going to touch on some kind of high level future questions about the film industry and stuff. Yeah. But I did have the release slate side of it sorted, so I'm going to run with that for my segment.
Cool.
And we're just going to go through like all the movies that are kind of coming up, kind of like the big boys, and this goes all the way through to 2031. There's not much after 2027, so not much to go through there. But the way that we can kind of, I guess, talk about them is like through like many different kind of avenues. So the first one would be like box office, hype level check, just seeing if you guys are hyped or excited for it or not.
This feels like another bait where he's going to use these films as a Nay curse.
No. Nay curse ends next week after our last podcast.
It's officially over.
It has to be in our most anticipated list for you to doom them to hell. The awards potential for it and industry impact. Is it going to impact the industry in any way? And just kind of franchise or genre fatigue. So, for example, like if we were doing this about Minecraft, where would it move the needle? Would it push it towards franchise fatigue, or would it boost the genre up or the franchise up? Which Minecraft is obviously going to make studios do more video game stuff now. So that's how we can think about it. I think we just we'll just start. We'll just get straight into these movies that I've selected.
Cool.
So first one, F1. So box office, and these are just kind of quick answers. It's just our last chance to get a take on this kind of stuff.
I think it could probably it could reach $1 billion if it's good.
Reach $1 billion.
If it's good. Otherwise, I'd see it around about 850.
Wow. That's ballsy. That's a
Yeah.
ballsy.
I just think the popularity of F1 right now, everyone's going to be raving about it if it's as good as Top Gun Maverick in regards to the real sort of driving and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Kyle, what do you think for F1?
I think it could reach Top Gun Maverick's box office.
Holy shit.
1.5.
What?
If it has the same level of fervor around it and word of mouth as Top Gun Maverick. We know that this sort of thing is possible with these sort of like viscerally made sort of cockpit type movies where, it's the setting is very like, it's a guy's movie for the most part, but what makes F1 I think a potential contender here is that it actually targets both male and female because F1 has an enormous amount of female fans.
That's huge.
Outside of almost any other sport, it seems to be actually a lot like the most diverse in terms of like people watching it.
Yeah,
and enjoying it.
You'll find like the female fan base kind of came from the Netflix show, and they're more interested in like the drivers and the personalities. The guys lean towards the strategy, the racecraft, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that there's an opportunity there to really capitalize on that the two genders and really pull in a lot more eyes and butts and seats than you think.
Yeah.
I think realistically, because Joseph Kosinski is such a 50-50 director, he can either create something really good or really bad, that I'm going to err on the side of it's good but not as good as Top Gun Maverick, and say it could possibly pull in sort of like, I'm thinking 850 to 900.
Oh, you and Nathan aligned there.
Yeah.
Wow. That's fair. It's a fair enough take, actually. Yeah, that's a fair enough take. I still think Top Gun Maverick, in terms of the box office, lightning in a bottle. Hard to replicate. I think F1 comes between three heavy hitters or before, like Jurassic World, Fantastic Four, and Superman. So that's going to hinder its performance a little bit. It has to be great for it to reach Top Gun, but I would say I'm going to be more conservative and go 650 for this. Yeah, it has to really hit beyond F1 fans. Awards potential. Top Gun Maverick was a lot of nominations. I don't think it's picked up a single win.
Nah.
But
I think probably visual effects and cinematography, definitely. Maybe production design.
yeah.
Unless Brad Pitt pulls in an Oscar-worthy performance. There might be an acting,
that
maybe
was-
director if it's as good as Maverick. I think that's the only things I can think. Oh, sound.
Score,
Sound
Score,
design,
sound,
yeah.
cinematography. Those
Yeah.
are the three
technical ones.
keys.
Actually,
Yeah.
sound that could actually have a chance to win there.
You could get
Yeah.
editing if it's done well enough.
Editing, yeah, if it's
Yeah.
paced super well, yeah, for sure.
Outside of that, I don't see an actor nom here at all. I see really it's in the base technical ones.
Yeah.
You know, because it's going to be a very technically executed film. They're going to try and really replicate the feeling of being an F1 car.
Yeah,
And probably try and build tension, and that's really ultimately what Top Gun Maverick tried to do. But what it also had was a really great dynamic cast that you could they just all work together on screen.
and you feel it.
Yeah, and like almost all of those actors as well have like gone on to become like a success as well.
Yeah.
It's just very clear that they had like again, like as you said, lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
I think that this is a lot more of a selected cast, and it's just not going to generate that same kind of, I don't know, virality and that kind of energy as Top Gun.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys on that one. Industry impact. Could this change anything in the industry in terms of like, I guess, how movies are made? That's kind of a really kind of big, like, question, and most movies won't fit the bill in terms of impacting the industry.
I don't think so.
No,
I mean,
this one I feel like it might, just because of like how it's made, and like how it connected to like a real thing, being the F1 season. Like, could it change in how we like shoot things from now on, where it's based on something in reality that actually goes to that location or joins, like, you know, football and stuff like that? You know how kind of Ted Lasso
yeah.
got like the licensing and stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that it's possible that it could, but again, it has to reach the sort of Top Gun Maverick level to make that impact.
That's yeah.
I think that what it could do, it could change sort of the way in which filmmakers aim to create an immersive experience in their film. Because if you're going to release something in theaters, you're going to really want to try and capitalize on the immersion and the sort of how visceral it feels. You watch Top Gun Maverick on your like 42-inch LCD, in your bright living room, you know, through your TV speakers. It's just not the same.
No.
It's not the same at all.
It's not.
And if one can really capitalize on that sort of like rattle in your seat immersion, then I think that can really be a pull for people and other directors to shoot that sort of style for cinema.
Yeah.
Like for cinemas. Yeah.
Yeah, I just find F1 really fascinating on that front, just because, like, yeah, it's like using like the real F1 drivers like in the background and interacting in some kind of scenes, and it's just, I don't think I've ever seen any kind of production do this before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
odd.
there's got to be it's a new level of immersion where it's like it feels like it's like an alternate reality that you're watching, kind of like a whole
Exactly.
film production crew has been like following like real
Yeah.
F1 drivers and a real
Because I
thing.
mean, I follow F1 quite closely, so I'm very curious to see how my experience is going to be, just seeing the actual drivers and them driving around while watching with Brad Pitt being there. It's just going to be
Yes.
very interesting. And then the final one, franchise or genre fatigue. I guess the genre would be kind of sports related movies. Is this going to be big for sports movies? Push like that forward? Could that be the next genre?
I think so. If it's a success, then definitely. You mentioned before football. That's a pretty much an untapped market where they could easily make one.
films, yeah.
Same with the NFL and possibly NBA, as in like actual NBA and actual NFL sort of films, rather than just, you know, these movies based around good iron or basketball.
Yeah.
So I think there is potential if it is good and if it really kicks up.
So, like, you wouldn't be surprised if this makes, like, you know, $1.2 billion and then NBA gets announced. And that's the title of the movie.
Whoa.
NBA.
You know, because they called it F1, like
Yeah.
NFL.
It's all IP, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, exactly.
Or no, what they do is they do movies for each team and then they build up towards NBA.
So like 30. Like.
So it'll be like Los Angeles Lakers, Chicago Bulls.
I mean, could that be a reality? Could that actually be a thing?
Absolutely, with how like important IP is nowadays,
Yeah.
I think it very well could be. I mean, we're getting the goddamn Skibbity Toilet movie by Michael Bay. You know, we've had the Barbie movie.
Did you see the teaser poster for that?
No, I did not. I don't know if I want to.
It's just weird that it's even real.
The fact that it's real is crazy. It feels somehow more surreal that this is getting made than the Kool-Aid movie in the studio, that TV series.
Even worse.
Like this is even worse.
It's just like brain rot.
It's just pure brain rot. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I thought that one's fascinating. That's why I included F1, even though it's real. I wouldn't even consider it like kind of like one of the big IPs for things releasing from movies. Next one, Jurassic World Rebirth. Box office potential.
Over $1 billion.
So you don't see a thing where it can go under?
Well, to be fair, Dominion just scraped past $1 billion, and that was a trash house film. Mm-hmm. And I don't think any Jurassic film can be as worse as that. So if it scraped $1 billion, then surely this can get over $1 billion.
Right.
I think that this is going to follow the same trend as Transformers, where there's a point where it was making money and then it stops. Mm-hmm. The tap literally shuts off.
Like dramatically?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a sharp shut off. I don't know whether this is the movie to do that. I think that this movie will be somewhere in between. Mm-hmm. I think this will probably be maybe an 850 movie.
Yeah.
And not because of not because I think that, you know, regardless of the quality of it, it's because Jurassic World Dominion was, I think, held up a lot by its nostalgia casting. Mm-hmm. You know, you had Sam Neill returning, you had Laura Dern returning, you had a lot of these to pull people in and get them interested. Yeah. And I think that was one of the last vestiges of sort of what you could extract to get people into cinemas. Yeah. I think going forward from here, there's really not much else you can do. We've just got a very, very like basic storyline. It has Scarlett Johansson in it. It's like, well, what is the motivation to go watch this right now? Like, other than just it being another Jurassic Park movie, there's no motivation to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about 850 actually.
That's fair. Yeah, I would go 900 to $1 billion. You know, you've seen Jurassic World, the one Fallen Kingdom, second one, and then Dominion. They all went down. I think we just see the continuation of that trend. Fast and Furious is doing the same thing, same as Transformers. They just reach a peak, and once it's like at the point where people feel it's been milked, then it goes down.
Yes.
Also, it releases like straight before Superman and Fantastic Four, which aren't going to help things at all.
No.
Yeah. Hype level check, Nan. Are you excited?
I am excited for it. It's a Jurassic Park film.
Oh. You, Kyan?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No, unless it's doing something really ballsy, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'm actually not excited for it. Like, I'm getting a little bit excited for Fantastic Four because of Thunderbolts. Spoiler alert for that one. But, like, Jurassic Park, I'm just feeling nothing about it.
Yes, I'm the same.
Awards potential?
0.
Visual effects?
Nah. Did any...
Awards potential in terms of nominations and wins?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think it could possibly get nominated.
I think nominated. It's Gareth Edwards. I think he's really good at putting visual effects. The creator was Gareth Edwards as well.
Oh yeah, and that got nominated.
Yeah, I think visual effects.
I mean, he is good at dinos. You know, he's done Godzilla.
Yeah.
So you know, he's done these sort of dino movies. He's great with scale.
Jurassic vs Godzilla.
Godzilla would just destroy them all.
Not if they invent a new dinosaur.
Oh well, that's not been done before.
But they invent one that's like big. Bigger than the last one they invented. Yeah. Isn't
and all of them.
Like this one is like this Jurassic World movie. They invented a new one again, eh?
Yeah, it's based off a T-Rex xenomorph and the Rancor.
Yeah, see, I just this franchise, man.
My favorite is the last one where they said the dinosaur is like the Joker. It's like what does that mean?
That's kind of hype. Now my hype levels are high.
No, that was for Dominion. They said the dinosaur in that one was like the Joker.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like yeah, it's smile. Like a blood smile.
Sticks its head out the window. All right, industry impact. Will this change anything for the industry?
No.
influential at all.
Absolutely not.
And then franchise and genre fatigue. Is it gonna for the franchise
Fatigue.
fatigue it more?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. We're all aligned there. Superman now box office potential.
It is James Gunn.
Superman.
I think around about 8 to 900.
Holy shit! No. Fine.
Whoa, sorry. I'm curious.
That's insane.
Why? What was your visceral reaction to that?
800 is an insane thing for Superman to get.
Yeah, but it's Superman who's super
it?
popular and James Gunn.
Yeah, what did Man of Steel get?
I don't know. 6.
6 something, yeah. Batman vs Superman got
Yeah.
like 830.
Yeah, but that was because both films were bad. If this is James Gunn, it's not going to be as terrible as those two
800 is
movies.
ridiculous. Like, I mean, if it has to be great.
I mean,
like,
I don't know.
truly
I don't
great.
really think it's that ridiculous. I
It has
mean,
to be-
like,
it has to be special for it to get 800 million. What? Like, not many movies get 800 million anymore. Like, they don't just fall off trees like they used to in 2019.
you're right. But to be fair, like Matt Reeves' Batman nearly made 800 million.
What did he get? Like 730.
770 something.
Yeah.
So that's not. I mean,
But Batman's way more popular than
and
Superman.
what did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 get?
800 or something, but that's a third. That's the final one.
True, but
and
it was
comes from
also-
a reputable franchise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. But I mean, you don't think that Superman is a super strong IP?
It's a strong IP. I just think people care about Superman. It's well known, but it's not like, oh my god, I have to go to it.
I'm actually inclined to agree that it's at least over 800. Yeah.
If Man of Steel can't do it, because Man of Steel actually
Man
had.
of Steel wasn't good.
Yeah, I know, but like the hype was. There's more hype for Man of Steel than there was for this movie.
There
like,
was more hype
Yeah.
until word of mouth wasn't great.
but it wasn't bad.
It wasn't
word of
bad,
mouth.
but it
Yeah.
was like,
So
you
if
know.
it's so what for Superman to get 150 more than Man of Steel, it has to be great then.
And
really great.
All good.
I think it will be a great movie. When I say great, I don't mean like it's. I think. Okay, here's what I think. I think that outside of the nostalgia and love for the Reeves Superman, I think that this will probably be the best Superman movie ever made.
You think so?
Yeah. I think based on James Gunn's consistency and quality, certainly none of Zack Snyder's were great,
Yeah.
and certainly Superman Returns, is it?
Yeah.
Superman Returns, that was good. It was enjoyable. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
I think that this will be the greatest Superman movie ever made.
Still, Superman has never done well at the box office. Never.
Yet.
Yeah, I mean, sure, yeah, but like, there's no evidence to be like, yep, 800 million. And in a time where it's hard to get 800 million.
You're
and
not wrong.
And it is releasing a week before Fantastic Four too.
Yeah, and it's straight after Jurassic World, which will dominate the international market more than Superman will. Superman has to thrive in America.
Again, I'm just pulling from something like the Batman, like Matt Reeves' The Batman, which again, you could consider it to be less accessible.
But the Batman, I wouldn't say less accessible at all. Like, the Batman has multiple billion-dollar movies. And Superman, the highest one is Man of Steel. It's 650.
50, yeah.
Well, I would say that the Batman works off of its IP and its consistency. It had
Yeah, I would
pretty
say the
good
Batman
consistency.
underperformed.
It was also released during COVID too.
Yeah.
And it was 3 hours.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was relatively
like-
inaccessible, and it still did really well.
I don't think it's inaccessible at all. It's the Batman. It's one of the most popular IPs of all time. 3 hours doesn't mean anything when, like, what is it? 3 of the top 4 movies are
Wait,
over
so
3 hours long?
Superman's not an accessible IP?
No, the Batman.
Yeah, but you're saying the Batman's one of the best IPs, right?
One of the biggest IPs.
Yeah. How is Superman not?
On a box office level.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Batman, which had multiple billion-dollar movies, and so 700 is kind of underperforming.
I think what's done the Batman a great deal of benefit is that it's had a lot of great directors behind it, and Superman hasn't. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
never
that's
been
true.
given the justice it deserves.
That's a fair comment for sure. But I don't know. Like I think the Batman massively underperformed, considering the history of Batman at the box office, and then Top Gun doubles its total box office. a couple months later. Like
again, I think the Batman's is very like slow, gritty, grindy movie. It's very detective-y. It's not big and cinematic in the same way that Nolan's
but
were.
it was great and people loved it, and
Yeah.
it still didn't get 800 million.
Correct. It still
Yeah.
didn't. But again, I think that it had a lot going against it at the time. And as you said, it underperformed. So I think that it was both inaccessible and still did good for what it had going against it at the time.
I would be very curious to see what the last non-MCU comic book movie made over 800 million. Before COVID, right?
Wait, non-comic book?
Non-MCU. But a comic book movie.
Non-MCU, but a comic book movie.
Would it be Rises?
What?
Dark Knight Rises?
No. You mean by like DCU?
By any
Yeah.
studio.
So like, for example, DCU, right? Their last one was what, like
Batman Superman, 830.
How much did Wonder Woman make?
Joker? It must have been Joker.
would have been? Was it Joker? Was it?
Yeah, it must be Joker. Yeah.
Yeah, because that had $1 billion. Or Aquaman. Which one released first?
Aquaman, yeah, Aquaman was
Aquaman.
good. Yeah. I think they're both 2018s. No, I think Joker was 2019. Yeah, so,
Joker
the
was
first,
20
so the first one since COVID.
Yeah,
Super-
I don't.
Superman's gonna be the one.
Here, I don't think it'll make $1 billion, but I do think it will make
Over 800.
about 800 or over 800. Because I think that there's a lot more accessibility to Superman. It's done by James Gunn. He knows characters well, and I think that he's probably one of the best directors to do Superman because he is this very like, I don't know. He's a sort of like he's a whimsicalness to him that is just not like it's the opposite of Batman, right? Like it's just very whimsicalness to him, and I think that if he captures that right feeling, then he could kind of reinvent how people perceive Superman.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Superman has the potential to be 800 million, but it needs everything in its favor, and it needs Fantastic Four to be bad and Jurassic World to be bad. To get to 800 million. I think
Jurassic World will be bad.
No, it won't. It's going to be fresh.
I have actually heard that it's tested well, Jurassic World.
You know, it is Gareth Edwards. You know, he does do a good job at least
Yeah.
making like a palatable movie. So I don't think it'll be like straight up trash. I think it'll be like decent, but it won't like reinvent anything.
800 million though, I still think it's a ballsy prediction. I'll give
What
you
is
that.
your prediction?
650.
650.
Same as Man of Steel.
Okay, where do you think Fantastic Four is going to be then? We'll spoil it. We're jumping around, but Fantastic Four because
I actually think it'll do relatively strong. I think it'll also be. I think it will be like 800 as well.
do we think Fantastic Four wins or Superman?
I think they're going to
Well,
be
there's nothing really-
50-50.
It's nothing really impacting Fantastic Four, is it?
No, it has a long leadway.
Yeah. And it's not.
outside of-
And it's no longer leading to Doomsday.
Pardon?
It's no longer leading into Doomsday now.
Oh, they'll still keep whatever post credits and stuff leading into it. Okay, well we'll move on from the Superman box office stuff. Hype level check though, Nan. Hyped or not?
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
You, Kai.
I'm a little bit hesitant. Marvel does not have a great track record. You
Also,
know,
this is
save
Superman.
Oh, sorry, Superman.
Yeah, we didn't move on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
About what? Sorry.
Superman. Hype
Level.
check.
I am quite hyped. I actually think it's going to be a lot better than people are expecting.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of faith in James Gunn to produced a Superman that people go like, this is kind of how he's supposed to be.
Right.
We've been getting these unnecessary reinventions for a long time, and when you stick closer to source and you lean into it as opposed to backing away from it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like filmmakers have been like scared for a long time to lean into it.
Yeah.
I think that's where maybe some magic could happen. I think we could get some magic. Maybe it won't happen, but I'm thinking we could.
Yeah. Yeah.
You?
I'm not excited for it. There's way too many trailers, by the way. Like it's starting to feel like over marketed. I'm sick of seeing like new trailer, new teaser. I'm like, what the fuck? We got like a 5-minute trailer drop last month. Like I don't need to see anything more from this movie.
It wasn't a trailer, it's a sneak peek.
Yeah, and it was 5 minutes long. Like this is classic DC when it comes to marketing films. Like just give the audience everything they need to see
Yeah.
before the movie.
Yeah.
I do have faith in James Gunn. I'm cautiously optimistic. DC disappointed me like 10 times in a row, and so I'm at a point now where I need to see it to believe it. And I don't care if you're James Gunn. I don't care if you're Nolan. I need to see it first.
Yeah, I don't need to. I think that James Gunn's proven himself.
Yeah.
No, because he proves himself with like, those kind of like C tier, D tier characters, those misfits, people that don't fit in with society. He's never done a Superman character before, so this is new waters for him. So I'm not like just straight away James Gunn man.
I don't think he'll treat it any differently than how he already does it. I think he'll treat it with the same level of like.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
like, yeah, we should have faith in it, but I'm not going to because it is new for him. Yeah, there's no default. Oh, yep, James Gunn. Yep, it's gonna be great. Not like, it's like if like Nolan started doing an animated movie, you'd be like,
That'll be alright.
man, that's a bad example. Nolan's in a different kind of sphere.
Well, that's
so
a different
get James
medium.
Gunn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
I
don't know,
know what you mean. I
Yeah.
know what you mean. Yeah.
All right, industry impact.
I don't think it's going to change the industry at all.
Not influential.
I agree with that. I actually don't think it will change the industry, but I do think it could change the IP.
We'll get into that one. Franchise and genre fatigue. Does that?
I think it's going to be fatigued mainly because of superhero fatigue. It's kicking in. It's already sort of kicking in. So I think, unfortunately, this new DC sort of franchise is going to suffer from the superhero fatigue that has already been done by Marvel.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. I think that there's a baseline level of fatigue that superhero films have right now, and Superman will just fall under that same banner of fatigue.
So do you think it fatigues the superhero genre more?
Yep.
Yeah, every superhero movie that releases now is
Yeah.
fatiguing it more and more.
All right, what about the DCU? Because it's a reboot to a whole other cinematic universe.
I think it's still going to suffer from
Yeah.
superhero fatigue.
It is.
Yeah.
But this is the worst time to be
Does
making a new
Franchise.
universe.
But does it ramp up? Like, does it get people more excited for future DC?
Yeah, look, it might. Warner Brothers might be able to scrape something out of it, but I think they did a lot of damage by rushing into the universe too fast, too soon from the beginning. They tried to
the EU one.
Yeah, they tried to DCEU. They tried to be competitive against Avengers without doing all the hard work to get there.
Yeah, so bad. Like anyone could have seen that coming.
Yeah,
So stupid.
exactly.
Yeah.
They tried to just bum rush it, and it was like suddenly Justice League. It's like you've not even made a Batman movie. You're not even made this movie or that
3
movie.
movies in,
It's
make it a
interesting
Justice
you
League.
guys think it's going to fatigue things more just because like you have so much faith in James Gunn that it's going to be great.
That's not to say that I don't think it can't make money. It's just that I think that in general, any superhero movie that releases right now, what you're doing is you're not growing the superhero genre. You're pulling
But for the DCU,
what's left out of it.
for the DCU, this new universe, I think if it's as good as you guys seem to think it's going to be, people will come for the next one. That's just how people work.
I still am hesitant to think that even if it's great, that people will come around for the next one.
Oh,
Yeah, I actually don't. I think that there's a limit to people's interest. It's like it doesn't matter if you like. It's like the Western genre, right? Like people, they were still making great Westerns right towards the end of its like heyday.
yeah.
But it didn't matter anymore. It didn't matter that it was a great Western. People were done with it.
Yeah.
The culture had shifted by that point.
I also think the slate is going to hit it a bit because the DCU slate is not as strong as Marvel's. We've got Clayface and Supergirl and some other
Really
random
stuff,
projects rather than just Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Flash.
Yeah.
So I think people will be like, "Oh, cool, what's next?" And they see Clayface, and like, "What? We're getting Clayface before Batman?"
Like, what even is Clayface?
Yeah.
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 But I mean, that could do it. That could be good for it because it's just some really random projects that don't all fit together. People might like that kind of change of pace. All right, cool. We'll move on to Fantastic Four. We're only 3 other way through it, so let's speed this one up a bit. Fantastic Four box office potential. We kind of covered that. You still thinking 800 million?
Fantastic Four box office potential. Yeah, I think that it is an 800 million if it's really good. Because I think that Pedro Pascal actually has a lot of star power behind him, a lot more than people realize. He's probably one of the most prominent stars right now. And I think that it's doing enough different to potentially skirt around the superhero fatigue thing. It's almost trying to not fall into the aesthetic of a superhero movie that you know about, that you know of as.
Yeah.
So I think that it might have the chance to sort of jump around that fatigue a bit if it's shot and performed and produced in a very specific kind of way.
Yeah.
That's the way where I'm at. I mean, again, if it's not a good movie, I don't think it's not making 800.
I think that's with any movie, really.
Yeah.
What do you
I'm
think?
thinking about 650 to 750.
Yeah.
Just only because it's Fantastic Four, and generally those previous three films have not been that great. The only thing that this thing has it going for is obviously Pedro Pascal and the fact that it's in the MCU
Yeah.
as well. And I think it being set in the 70s and not in the actual MCU timeline is going to hurt it a bit. I think most people would think it's like an event film in
Do you
terms of...
think the Thunderbolts post-credit scene helped it at all?
Maybe. If people stayed around for it.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
I think that what it does is what Thunderbolts has helped done is maybe get your baseline fan base to definitely go. Whereas before, maybe it was 50-50.
Yeah.
Now I think that it's cemented that the base MCU fans in general will definitely go and see it, which is actually a huge deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I think that a mix between like its kind of unique style is enough to, like, again, as I said, differentiate it from your traditional superhero thing.
Yeah. I would still think, I'm thinking 550 to 600.
I think that is actually very, very fair. I'm going on the
Yeah.
higher end if it's a great movie.
Because Thunderbolts is going to end up with like 400 million, and that was a good movie. Like, everyone loved it,
Yeah.
and it was good. And
Yes.
so I think it's more of not so much MCU, but just superhero movies in general. They have a hard task to fill at the moment, and on the box office side of things, that's why I'm going so conservative with both of them. And you saw Captain America, that new one, that got like 400 and something as well. They're hard to get over 500 million now. That's just the reality of it. So I think both movies are actually going to struggle to get over that.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe that won't. I'm trying to be a little bit optimistic on it because, again, I think this is probably one of the more unique projects out of
That's
what
true.
they've done.
It's it's more intriguing than the other two.
Yeah.
I still think Superman's going to be better, and therefore the higher grossing one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hype level check. Man, you excited for Fantastic Four?
A little, only because of Thunderbolts.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've gone from not giving a shit to actually intrigued.
He's back.
He's back on the MCU wagon.
Yeah, I'm intrigued because, again, the Thunderbolts did such a great job, and for the first time, it feels like they're tying things in right.
Yeah. Agreed. Thunderbolts definitely raised my excitement a little bit more.
Yeah.
Cool. Awards potential.
Maybe
Crickets.
Black Panther. Like, that got nominated.
maybe like visual effects.
Nah. Not MCU.
Maybe
Not anymore.
production design.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if it's unique enough. Industry impact.
No.
Death of the MCU.
No, I don't think it's going to have an industry impact at all.
And then franchise or genre fatigue. We're thinking that's elevating
It's
it.
the same. It's the same thing with all the superhero movies.
They all
It's
kind of fit in this
they're-
one
They're
bracket.
all
Yeah.
fatiguing it, even if they're doing well. They're fatiguing it. You know, it doesn't matter. Like, if you produce a $2 billion masterclass one, you're actually still fatiguing the genre.
It might do well for the franchise, the MCU,
Yeah.
and considering it was in the lead up for Doomsday and coming off Thunderbolts, but as a genre superhero, in general, I think it's going to fatigue.
Yeah, well, I think if
Which is
like,
sort
all
of
these
like-
superhero universes are doing well, then they're actually helping each other be more popular as well. But if Fantastic Four has like Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom in it at the end, and it really ties things in with Doomsday, I think it's actually going to raise the fatigue, or not raise the fatigue, like lower the fatigue, and actually elevate this franchise higher because it's tied things in together. People are now excited and talking about it, and I think that would be a service to Superman as well and other, superhero stuff that aren't related to the MCU. So.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that's going to happen. So
I think once these movies release and we see the box office numbers, say they're like middle of the road, like let's say like, this earns like 600, Fantastic Four, and then like Doomsday earns like
800.
No, let's say like 1.2. Like I would consider that like really really disappointing.
That's
like
a
box
bomb.
office.
I would say that's a bomb.
Yeah, it's basically a bomb for Marvel, and I would say like. At that point, there's no turning back. Like, I don't think you even like producing a whole like X-Men thing could do anything.
Yeah, because Avengers movies are like they're like the ceiling of what the box office can be for the MCU.
Yes.
Yeah, and so if it does come to 1.2 billion, it's like, oh, that's the new ceiling that an MCU movie can really get to.
Yeah, but it's and this is a weird analogy, but to me, it's like say you open a restaurant and you're doing really well on Fridays and Saturday nights, right? Those are your Avengers movies, your Friday and Saturday nights. That's when everyone's out and everyone's eating.
Yeah.
If you're doing bad on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right, you're not going to be able to sustain your business.
Depends how big those Friday and Saturday nights really are.
I don't think it does. I mean, I think that...
So if Doomsday makes $10 billion...
Okay, that's not going to happen. If it makes $2 billion, right, and all your other movies, over like your other three movies, all bomb and they're making negative, right?
Yeah,
it's not sustainable.
Nah,
it's just not sustainable. So it's like, yes, they are an indicator of your ceiling of potential, but they're also... You can't use that as a reference for your other movies at all, because if your other movies are all bombing, which they are, then there's not really a future for your franchise. You can't sustain yourself on Avengers movies.
That's true. All right, we'll move on to some positive side of the box office. Avatar: Fire and Ash, box office outlook for that.
2.5.
Whoa! Big. Man's bold today.
He is. Right. He's gone high.
Okay. Where do you fit it?
I'm going 1.8.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I'm going 1.8. I'm going to say a little more conservative. I think people have got their fill from The Way of Water. In terms of like seeing something new from Avatar, or getting a re-invitation to Avatar. I think that Fire and Ash is so close to Way of Water that it's going to pull some of that away, some of that, I can't find the word. It's just the interest.
Yeah.
Just the general interest.
Yeah.
And unless Fire and Ash really does something new and inventive, I don't see it going to the level of Way of Water. That's not saying I'm not a James Cameron believer. I'm a full believer. I'm being realistic with like the trajectories of interest.
Right. Well, you're alone in that. 2.2 billion.
2.2.
Yeah, and I was like almost exact with my Way of Water one.
What's your justifications here for 2.2?
China. The anticipation levels for the next Avatar movie in China is huge. Like, at least from like the metrics that I'm like seeing lately. And the Way of Water was impacted by COVID there when that released. And it still made like 250 in China. So without any of those restrictions, and they get a good, prominent Hollywood release in China, 400 million, 500 million, it could really get that.
Yeah.
And then you just add that on, it's going to like supplement any loss from these other international markets. And there's just no reason to believe it's not going to do under 2 billion, I think, at this stage. I think once we see a trailer come out and we see kind of what direction it's going and how people respond to that, then we can get an idea, but just at this stage, I think.
It's crazy how it comes out this year, but no trailer, no footage, nothing.
Nothing.
Not even a teaser or a poster.
Yeah.
I think, we'll get something soon, next month for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hype level check.
I don't know. I think I'm only excited to see the fire Na'vi and the visuals, but that's it.
Yeah.
They better be doing something bold with the storytelling, because to me, I'm not really that interested in seeing different shades of Na'vi, like the different colors. I want to see
Well, we're getting cancelled before our 100th episode.
different shades. What I mean by that, let me clarify, is, this one's fire, this one's earth, this one's okay, cool. I want to see some actual storytelling development in terms of what is Awa.
Saw that last time.
Not really. No, don't do that move. He's doing the freaking arm move that she does in it.
Little
Way
dance,
the little
controls
dance.
it.
No, I want to see that where that's going. I want there to be something that more than meets the eye in this.
Right.
And if I don't get that, I'm not going to be that intrigued by it.
So the fire Na'vi being evil doesn't intrigue you?
I mean, it intrigues me, but I kind of already saw that with Neytiri. You saw a little bit of her dark side, and I can sort of see them just doing that again.
Not full-fledged, though.
Not full-fledged.
And her son just died. So obviously she's going to be
well, of course,
and,
yeah. I don't know. It will be cool to see villainous Na'vi, evil Na'vi, but I think it will be a cool storytelling direction if you maybe show the humans as the victims.
Yeah.
In an angle.
I think the biggest downfall of the Avatar franchise is the villain itself. That Quaritch guy. It's just he is the stupidest, almost boring villain. It's the most boring storytelling element. So if they have these evil Na'vi as kind of an alternate antagonist in it, it can create some really interesting dynamics. Does he team up with them, or do they fight Quaritch as well? I think there's interesting things for it to go. But in terms of my hype level, it was my number one for the year. But that first footage is really gonna sway my anticipation quite a lot, because I am like you guys. I'm just not so harsh on it, that we do need to see a little bit more, and we need to be more invested in that story. So yeah. Awards potential.
Visual effects for sure.
Obviously. Best picture nomination?
Best what?
Picture
I
nomination?
think so, because Way of Water got...
Yeah, they both got a nomination.
So I think that's on the cards. Maybe score and sound, maybe.
Sound, I would say.
Maybe.
Safe, yeah.
I think all the visuals, those big ones.
What? Yeah, they get nominated for quite a bit.
Director? Did he get nominated for director, James Cameron?
Nah. Maybe just in the conversation.
Yeah.
Was it? We got to see how great it is. Industry impact. Interesting for the Avatar franchise. Is there any industry impact for this one?
I don't think so, because first Avatar, introduced proper 3D, where every film was doing 3D. And then this one brought it back a bit, but for not as long. And that only released, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
So now I think that whole 3D craze, obviously it's still going to release in 3D and stuff like that.
It's good for the franchise.
Yeah, it's good for the franchise, but I don't see it impacting that much in the industry as a whole. Not as much as the first one did, at least.
Do you think it could be industry impacting is another Avatar movie makes $2 billion, that the studios are like, holy shit, we need to take some big risks. We need to find new kind of directors with a vision of this scale, and we need to invest $300 million into that. Because if they're seeing what Avatar's doing, imagine if this franchise goes 3 for 3 with $2 billion. It's such a weird franchise to do that.
Yeah.
Studios might change their strategies to...
Maybe, but I think there's been attempts in the past to try and do that. For example,
Valerian.
Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings were examples of, franchises that ended up just taking off.
Yeah.
And then they tried to do that again. I mean, actually, a really a big example of that is actually the Golden Compass, which is actually a massive universe. It's a huge sprawling kind of world.
Oh, the Golden Compass, yeah.
Yeah. Not unlike, what the Wizarding world is. But it never took off.
Yeah.
It just didn't take off. And, there were even ones like Aragon. Remember that movie? There were, again, these are all things that could have become these big IPs, big franchises.
So what sets Avatar from those? Is it it's got to be the visual effects and the.
No, I think with Aragon and Golden Compass, it didn't have a director that was passionate about those projects. I think.
Agreed.
I think they just saw it as like, it's work.
And they're based off source material too.
Yeah, but with Avatar, it was like something James Cameron has been working on for decades and bringing to life, and he's still trying to bring to life.
Yeah.
That's why there's 6 of them. So it's literally like his life's work.
Look, if there was a perfect formula to create these things, that Hollywood would be following it and succeeding.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the formula is very, very, it's very specific to kind of it's kind of at the mercy of where the industry is at that point in time. Like it's literally, and I've always said this, and I still believe it now. It's that movies is like it's like high stakes gambling with art.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's high stakes gambling with art, and you're going, I'm putting my chips 200 million down on this piece of art. Does it work? Will it make money? We don't know.
Interesting way to look at it. Yeah. Franchise fatigue. Does it kick in?
Interesting. If it does this, it repeats the same issues as what Avatar 1 and 2 has, and doesn't move the needle forward in terms of its, and this is my opinion, its storytelling.
Yeah.
Then I think that it will begin to fatigue. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think just the visuals is enough to keep people interested, because if visuals were, then again Hollywood would be doing that, right?
Yeah.
And you'd be seeing consistent success. Visuals is not a number one indicator of success.
What was the big draw with Way of Water? Why 2.4 billion or something like?
Maybe because it's like 13 years after, and everyone wanted to see how the visuals evolved.
I just don't believe $2.4 billion for visuals.
No, I think it has to come down to
Do people actually
scale.
like these characters and like the story that much? I'm just.
I asked myself that same question as well when I saw how it did.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm really surprised it made as much money as it did.
Because people would have to be going back to the cinema to get to that kind of those numbers.
Yeah.
And they're not exactly like rewatchable movies.
I think
Like in terms of runtime, they're like almost 3 hours.
That was the 3 hours and 15 minutes. The Way of
Oh,
Water. Yeah.
This one's the same, apparently.
I actually watched it like a month ago.
Way of Water.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. Yeah.
I think that it could be a combination of like those things that it's doing right. Like, for example, it's like accessible across multiple languages and cultures. It's, visually striking. It's done cinematically well. Like, it's very like immersive, and immersion, I think, is a big thing for people.
Yeah.
I think that they're probably doing some other things around it to just tickle that part of your brain, maybe.
Yeah.
That's as best as I can describe.
That's fair. Yeah. What did you say for franchise fatigue? No.
Can I answer? No, I think I'll get fatigued.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we got to be real quick with these ones because we've been stuck on this for like half an hour and we've only done 5 movies. We've been to the entire future of cinema. So we're going to keep it to like near one-word answers from now on, all right? Box office, Avengers Doomsday. Give me a range.
2 billion.
Just 2 billion?
2 to 2.2.
Okay. Hi.
2.
2. I'm going 2. 2 billion as well.
Yeah.
Hype level check? Yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay? You're hyped? Okay.
Mid.
Mid.
The options were yay or nay.
I'm hyped for now. Awards potential?
None.
Mid.
Mid.
There needs to be an option.
That can be an option. Industry impact?
None.
If it does really well, then big for the next one. So
Yeah. And other universes is too.
maybe yay, but most likely mid.
Mid. Yeah. Franchise or genre fatigue? Do we predict that it's gonna do? This is a big one to do it for as well.
It is.
Fatigue it. Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
fatigue it.
No, I would go on the other side because it's like half of a story. We saw Infinity War raise it for
yeah.
Endgame. I think Doomsday is going to do the same thing for Secret Wars. And then anything after Secret Wars is fatigued.
Okay. Yeah.
because Avengers isn't immune to that. All right, The Mandalorian and Grogu box office potential. Tricky one with Star Wars.
Really tricky.
When's the last Star Wars movie in cinemas? Was that?
Rise of Skywalker.
No way.
Yeah,
That's the last one in cinemas.
2019.
Shit.
What was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It feels so long.
All the rest have just been TV
It
series,
feels like
I'm
a
pretty
Disney
sure.
Plus franchise at this point, eh?
Oh yeah.
The
it
Mandalorian
was.
literally is, but yeah, box office. This one's a tough one. What would
It
you?
is.
It's hard, eh?
I'm thinking maybe 700 to 750.
That's a good one, I think. Yeah.
I think it's tough because I think if they didn't do season, like the most recent season, which was season 4, was it? Of
3.
3?
Yeah.
If they didn't do that and they didn't do the whole Boba Fett thing,
Yeah.
I reckon this could be like 900 to a billion.
Yeah.
But since they've done, I think, so much damage, I actually think they've done damage to The Mandalorian and Grogu because they overdid it. They overstepped and overextended. So I'm thinking 650.
650.
Yeah.
I feel like 650 is very low.
I think it's low as well, but I just think people might be a bit overexposed on The Mandalorian. and
When was
Grogu.
that season though? 2020?
Yeah, it just wasn't a good season as
22?
well.
21 or 22?
Yeah, it was ages ago. I think that kind of fatigue's worn off. I'm actually going to say 800 million. Just because the Grogu Baby Yoda IP is so popular.
You're right, it
and
is very
He's
strong.
an icon at this point. If they market that well, I think it can actually do quite a lot.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm going to change my mind. Probably agree with you there, actually.
Yeah. Sweet. Hype level check. Kyle, we'll start with you. Since you're a Star Wars guy. Andor.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I actually just started watching The Acolyte as well.
Oh,
It's not
the
good.
Andor hype.
Everyone goes, "Oh, the fight sequences," and I'm watching the fight sequences. I'm going, "Yeah, they're well choreographed. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. It's just the storytelling is like, it's just the contrast going from Andor to this. Anyway,
Yeah, I bet.
hype level check.
Yep, for Mandalorian and Grogu.
I'm gonna get like a 6 out of 10. I'm not very hyped for it. I'm like I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't see it going in a direction for me that is interesting.
But it's like it's Jon Favreau directing. He's like the James Gunn of Star Wars.
No, he's not. He's nowhere near that level of consistency.
All right, Nan. Hype level check. Mando.
Yeah, I'm hyped.
Hyped. Yeah, I'm hyped as well. That D23 trailer we
Yeah.
saw looks good.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Awards potential.
Maybe visuals.
Visuals. I'm actually going to skip over that one if it's not actually going to apply. Franchise and genre fatigue. Do we think it's going to do good stuff for Star Wars or bad stuff for Star
That
Wars?
one is really dependent on how good of a quality it is.
That's true.
If
but
it's shit, it's going to damage Star Wars even more to the point where they should just bury it. But if it's good, then there might be hope that Star Wars could come back.
I feel like Star Wars is like in the worst condition of like the big franchises there. I feel like in terms of its starting fans to like the amount of fans they have now. Like I feel like they've lost the most out of any of these big ones.
I mean, yeah, they've upset a lot of people. I think that Star Wars still has life in it. I think that they've lost a lot of the hardcore fans and they've lost a lot of faith from people. But I think that it's one of those, it's not yet reached fatigue. Fatigue is
You
where...
just watched Andor, so of course you're saying this. But outside of Andor,
Outside of, again, when I say, what the Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker were a result of was poor storytelling. They wasn't a result of fatigue.
yeah.
Right? So the last movies were not victim to fatigue, they were a victim to poor storytelling.
That's true.
This is why I think it's not fatigued yet. I think that there's still life in it.
I feel like the Disney Plus and the kind of numbers that they're getting is the fatigue side
I
of it.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But yeah, most of the damage is from the quality of all the projects.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think that if
can turn
you
around.
do something good here with Mandalorian and Grogu, I actually think it can reinvigorate some interest in Star Wars.
That's fair enough. I agree with that too. Toy Story 5 box office name.
1.2.
Jeez.
I'm gonna go 1.6.
Oh, I'm gonna go 950
Yeah.
million.
I knew you were gonna lowball.
Well, like the growth from Toy Story 3 to 4, despite the 10-year difference and inflation, all that shit, was like 40 million or something. It wasn't much at all. In terms of fatigue levels, I think Toy Story is actually getting that because it's ended twice now, the franchise. So yeah, I don't know, but then I think Inside Out 2 got like
That's
1.7
exactly
billion.
why I gave that number because
Yeah.
it surprised people.
And also animated movies have just been dominating the box office like nothing else. Zootopia, we'll see what Zootopia does, and that couldn't change my mind. Hype level check, Toy Story 5.
Mid.
Mid?
Mid. Until I watch it, till I'm sitting down watching it.
I'm actually hyped for it. And it's because of like the children
Oh,
focusing
sorry,
on
I forgot
outros.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did forget about that too.
Oh, I'm reminding you guys.
Yeah, no, actually hyped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If it's
same.
fully focused on that, I'm fully on board for it. Franchise fatigue.
Yeah. With
This has to be it.
Yes,
Eh? Yeah.
yes.
I don't think I can do a Toy Story 6, guys.
or if they do a Toy Story 6, focus on different toys.
Yeah, what if it's like Woody reuniting with Buzz and Andy again, and then he says so long partner to Andy's son.
Oh my god, too much.
All right, The Odyssey box office potential. We need some cool ones now.
That's tough because Oppenheimer, 3-hour black and white, talkie, almost hit $1 billion
Was
off
it
the back of.
970 million or something?
I think it might hit.
I'm going $1.1 billion. I just
1.1.
It's the first film to ever be shot 100% in IMAX cameras
Yeah.
at that big scope.
So every
This
single shot is on IMAX.
The big one. First movie ever to do that.
That's insane.
Yeah. And just like the biggest budget he's got in, it's shot everywhere. Like,
I'm thinking $1 billion.
yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be about the same as Oppie, because I think that it actually has the same challenges as Oppie. However, I think that Nolan can cut through all that through his spectacle and his like really, really great filmmaking.
Yeah. He always seems to
Defy.
squeeze out as much box office as it's possible from a movie.
100%, especially
Yeah.
from things that you expect wouldn't
Yeah.
reach that level. It does. So yeah, again, I think that this is about $1 billion.
Yeah. Cool. Hype level check.
Hyped.
Hyped.
Awards potential.
A lot.
From the major categories, I don't have that much faith in Tom Holland. I'm sorry, poor man's Timmy.
Rich man's Timmy.
No.
Timmy needs a box office hit.
Yeah, I think that if anything, it's going to come from other actors. The major acting categories. I think that we could look at a best picture and we could see another best director.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah. No, if 100%, we could absolutely see that because
Yeah.
you know it's just not uncommon for him to get those when he produces a film.
For sure. Genre fatigue, and I mean this from like a new kind of Greek mythology genre. Could this start something? If $1 billion awards,
You mean is it going to fatigue the Greek mythology genre?
or raise it, or elevate it?
Okay,
Raise
Could
it.
it start a new wave?
dude, I hope so because I want to see a lot more like ancient movies. You know, like depicting ancient times. I love them. I always love like watching movies that are like
Yeah.
set in those like crazy time periods.
So if this movie makes $1 billion, wins Best Picture, could we start seeing more of that? You think?
I
Yep.
hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Spider-Man: Brave New Day box office.
$2
Brave
billion.
New Day.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
That's such a weird name.
Two bi-
The
two-
day is brave.
No, it's Brand New Day, isn't it?
What's it? I wrote Brave. Brand New Day.
Oh, I was gonna say. I was like, what the
Brave.
hell does that mean?
Oh, Brave New World? Is that the Captain
Yeah.
America? That's the confusion. Yeah, Brand New Day. Box office, you got $2 billion. Oh, interesting.
Wow, I'm gonna go. You know, I think that this could be. Is this Tom Holland's last Spider-Man?
No.
No,
Probably not.
Okay,
Maybe. Depends what happens in the Avengers movies.
yeah. I think that. I think it's a 1.8. No, maybe no. I'm gonna go 1 point. I'm gonna go 1.6.
I feel like so variable on things. If it doesn't include the other Spider-Man, does it become like a 1.1 billion movie now?
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it really depends on who it includes.
And if it's got the old Spider-Man and it's completely connected to Doomsday, is it now a $2.2 billion movie? Like,
When is it? When is it after Doomsday?
it was after Doomsday. Now it's before Doomsday, which could change the story.
Well, you see, that's really interesting if there's like something in it where it's Spider-Man confronting
Yeah.
Doomsday. Like if there is Doomsday himself in it,
Yeah.
and Spider-Man in it, then I think it's a 1.7 at least.
Yeah.
If not, and it's just another standalone thing, I think it's like a 1.1.
Yeah. I think that's a safe bet. Safe bet for sure. Hype level check.
Hyped.
Hypes.
Mid at the stage, we'll see.
See what like is announced.
Yeah, we'll see what it's about.
Yeah. Franchise fatigue, and I'm going to say franchise in terms of Spider-Man here. It's essentially the most like everlasting IP for a singular character that I think I've
I
ever
don't
seen.
think it's fatigued at all.
Maybe Bond might be the only one that's kind of withstand
The test of time.
Yeah, the test of time.
Yeah, I don't think it's fatigued at all, honestly.
It's crazy what Spider-Man's done. Like
It's just
as
one of the
an
most
IP.
consistent IPs.
And it's on like the animated medium, games,
Yep.
film. Like,
Doesn't matter what it is, it
Yeah.
just keeps.
generational run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
they've never really, honestly, they're not even really fully capitalized on like, we've never seen a live action Miles Morales movie.
yeah.
They've not even fully gone the whole way with Spider-Man. We've not even had a Spider-Woman movie or a Spider-Girl.
We had
Madam Web.
Madam Web. Yeah. We watched it all together, remember? Yeah.
Yeah, we did. That was horrifying.
That was a weird movie. But does this franchise fatigue the Spider-Man IP at all?
I don't
No?
think so.
Fair enough. All right, Moana live action box office name.
Bro, you know it's going to get like 1.5 to 1.7.
Oh, he's going big. You're going big.
Moana.
Well, if fucking second one got like, however much it made, was it $1 billion something?
It might have been 1.1. I never saw the final for it.
1.1, and then this one is live action of a beloved original, plus it has a rock in it. So, I'm not crazy in saying that.
No.
You're actually not.
Yeah.
I'm going to go probably 1.3, 1.4.
1.3, 1.4. Yeah, I'm going to go, 1.4 to 1.5. Around there. Hype level check, man.
0, none.
Negative.
He hates it.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing now that he hates it.
Yeah, I know.
So you're going negative too?
Yeah, I'm just not interested at all. Like, I have no interest whatsoever in even like watching it.
I'm going to go 2 because they're shot in like, it's shot in like real locations and I want to see if they can actually make it visually beautiful. First one was, and I think it has the potential in the cinema in live action format. And then franchise fatigue. Is it going to kill the Moana franchise?
I hope so. And maybe live action too. Kill that.
Kill live action remakes?
Yeah.
Not if it makes $1.5 billion.
If it makes 1.5, they're going to double down.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I
going to do
know.
the second one in live action.
Fuck!
Okay. No fatigue. Kill the Moana franchise. Kai, what do you think?
I don't think it will fatigue it. I think it will just increase interest for Moana 3.
Fair enough. All right. The Chronicles of Narnia reboot, the Greta Gerwig one, box office, because it has a month in cinemas, but it's a very short theatrical release. It released on Christmas Day on Netflix. So it's not like $1 billion here, but like, what's the potential for that?
I don't know. Netflix ones are really hard to judge, and I don't like judging them because, again, people are reticent on watching it because they know it's coming out on Netflix.
100 million worldwide?
Yeah,
They
I
could
think
probably do
maybe
that.
like 150.
Yeah, because it got IMAX exclusivity.
Yeah, but I think that was just because Greta Gerwig's like...
That's an actual waste, eh? To
was-
shoot a thing on IMAX and then for it to be...
On Netflix.
That's why she's airing it in cinemas.
Yeah, but only a month before it releases. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Yeah, I would say 250 million. I think it's...
50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
I'm like 150.
All right, hype level check.
I'm actually quite excited for it.
Really?
I'm going to actually put it as high because I think that, again, she's great at ensemble characters.
Mm-hmm.
She understands character motivation really well.
Yep.
This casting seems to be well placed so far. I think that Emma Mackey,
Yeah.
I think she's a decent choice as the White Witch. She's not as good as Tilda Swinton.
Oh, yeah,
But, the White Witch is kind of... I was reading the other day, is actually quite interesting. I don't know if any of you would care, but basically the history behind the White Witch is she's like not even part of Narnia. She's like a extra dimensional entity that managed to like sneak her way in and like
didn't know that.
infect everything, because Narnia is supposed to be like basically like a heaven, a paradise. And she's like come in, she started screwing it all up.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of just an interesting...
Yeah.
A little bit more interesting, but I think if they do something a little bit different with it, I think the older Narnia films are actually quite well made.
The first one is the next to not good at
The
all.
third is definitely bad. I actually do quite like Prince Caspian.
I hate Prince Caspian. I thought it was bad.
It has a special spot in my heart because it's still so much of it is practical.
Yeah.
And they're using like big puppetry and stuff.
I love the first one though. That was like a good childhood movie. For
Really
me.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, good
What about
stuff.
you, Nan? Hype level check.
Mid, I want to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see before I can kind of decide. Awards potential: Greta Gerwig,
Potential.
but a Netflix release. So
It's a Netflix release, but that doesn't stop things from winning.
visual effects.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we could see something around Emma Mackey if she does really well. Mm-hmm. She's the kind of actress that she has that potential.
Like an extra gear.
Yeah, she's got something in her where she could pull out an Oscar, maybe.
Stretch. Oh, you'd have to see it to believe it. For me, anyway. Franchise fatigue, or is it going to elevate this? Is it going to start something new here for the? Going to get the Netflix Narnia series.
I
think it would.
Yes, if it's done well. I think that we could see a reinvention of Narnia.
Fair, I agree. All right, Shrek 5 box office, man.
Didn't you guys say it was like a potential to be like $2 to $3 billion?
Not me.
I said I
you
predicted
did.
$2 billion. I'm going to lock in $2 billion. Actually, it depends on if it changes its release date and if it sticks with Avengers, of course. But if it has its own, I said $2 billion because it's in the holiday period. If it's not in the holiday period, I'm going to say 1.6 to 1.7 Inside Out 2 territory. Holiday period, $2 billion.
I'm going to say 1.6.
I might have said a lower figure previously, but I'm probably going to go 1.2. I think that it's...
That's crazy.
What?
Any animated movie can get to 1.2. Moana 2 got to 1.1.
The Shrek doesn't have consistency, doesn't have the
But
right
it's
director.
Shrek.
It just doesn't have the box office consistency. And the director behind it, I just don't have any faith in them. And also, I'm not blown away by the trailer, as you guys also aren't. And it needs to keep up with a very specific kind of cultural shift. It needs to do it right, because what Shrek did so well originally was like reflect the current cultural state.
Yeah.
There's just so many things it has to do right that I'm just not confident it's going to
But
do right.
people are going to show up.
They'll show up for the IP, which is why I'm saying 1.2.
Yeah.
And I think that the IP is what will do the heavy lifting, but I don't think it's going to be... I don't think it's going to be a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't have faith in it.
The box office for it's weird. The first one was obviously low because it's the first one.
Yeah.
Second one boosted like way over 800 million.
Yeah.
Which is impressive in 2004.
It is impressive.
And then I think the third one was lower and the fourth one was bad.
Yeah.
In terms of box office. But I just think that character stood the test of time in terms of
It did.
maintaining such popularity through memes and through just, I don't know, the history of the character. I think there's so much anticipation from everyone and from multiple generations that the bar is 1.4 or above.
I don't disagree. That the bar is really high and it's maintained a really strong IP. To me, it comes down to the movie itself. And even if you produce something that's really bad, there is a ceiling to how much you can extract. And I think that's usually around the $1 billion mark.
Right,
like
then.
Rise of Skywalker, terrible. Still made $1 billion, but realistically, if it was a great movie, it should have been earning 2.4. if for a third movie in the Star Wars franchise if it was great.
If it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't because that's the ceiling and that's
Yeah.
where I think it's going to land.
Well, Shrek 7 will get 400 million then, based on that logic.
Yeah.
But hype level check, though.
Low.
Low. Oh,
Yep.
man.
I'm still hyped.
Oh, he's got faith.
I'm mid now. That trailer turned me off so much. Like, I would rather not have a Shrek 5 with that animation style than have a Shrek 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want to see that. Okay. Franchise fatigue. If it's bad, man,
Yeah.
does this kill the franchise forever?
Yeah, I think it should. What's that? 3 bad movies in a row?
Yeah.
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 This has to be like a magnum opus to bring, which if it is, then it will bring the Shrek movies back. If it's bad, then bye-bye.
Yeah.
Forever. Bye-bye.
I agree. All right, Dune Messiah, box office.
I think it's the same as Doom Part 2.
The exact same.
I think
Down to the
there
dollar.
might be a bump because it's the conclusion.
Is it a conclusion?
Yeah.
Isn't there like 5 books and we just did the first one?
Yeah, but the other ones are just not really a conclusion for Paul.
Yeah.
This is kind of the conclusion for Paul in a way.
Right.
So I'm thinking that, and it's also the last Denis one. So I think it's probably you're like 750 to 8. I think maybe you're like at 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I'm at, 800.
I'm going to say 750.
715. I'm going to say 700. I think it goes down from Doom Part 2. And obviously depending on the release date, because it releases the same day as Doomsday at this point in time. So
That's insane.
yeah,
it will have to move.
It will have to move. Hype level check, man. Since you hate Doom.
Don't hate Dune.
Remember, what did he do? He didn't have like Dune 2 in his most anticipated. Remember when he didn't have that?
Well, but it doesn't matter because they never released that year.
Yeah, and then it got delayed, and then he put it in like second.
That's
for,
why
like,
it was good.
2024.
It's because I knew it was going to get delayed, so I didn't even waste my time or energy trying to explain why I'm excited for it.
But now for Dune Messiah,
Yep.
hype level. Hyped?
Yep.
Hyped. Cool.
Yes, hyped.
Um,
Oh, screw you.
yeah, I'm mid. I need to see something from it first.
Fair enough.
Franchise fatigue.
Franchise fatigue.
Yeah, or does it? Do we continue to get more Dune?
Nah, I think it's reached its peak, really.
I agree. I don't think you're
Yeah.
going above that. I don't think it
didn't-
has the...
It didn't feel like a franchise that could just keep on going. and
Nah,
going.
it's not.
It had a beginning, middle, end kind of thing.
Correct, it
Yeah.
does. And it's, it's a sort of like great for what it is sort of situation.
Yeah. Awards potential.
Yeah.
Yes.
Visuals.
Sorry. Shouldn't give me a pen. I just end up fiddling with it. Yeah, I think it has high awards potential. If there's recognition of those performances, I think that Timmy could pull out a nom. I don't think he'll win.
Did he get nominated for Doom Part 2?
No, he did not.
No.
No, this is why.
Oh,
there
because he
wasn't
got it for the other one, eh? Complete unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he'll get nominated for anything. But on the technical side, yeah.
Yeah.
It would
Every technical.
go against the Odyssey for that one, eh? All right. I'm sorry, guys. We're nearly there.
Oh, my lord.
We're getting there. We're getting to the 2027 now.
Oh my god, we have to
Avengers-
go to 2031, don't we?
But there's not much after this year, so we just got to be quick. Avengers Secret Wars. Box office.
There's literally no indication to know that.
That's why you just got to give me a number.
Just go 1.5.
What? Is that your prediction? 1.5?
Yeah, it's 1.5.
I'll go 2.5 to 6.
Yeah, I'm going to
2.5 to 6.
No,
That's brilliant.
2.5 to 2.6.
to 6 billion. Yeah, I'm going to go 2.5 as well. If Doomsday is good. Doomsday?
Doomsday.
yeah.
What happens if Fantastic Four is shite and then it earns like 400 million and then Doomsday was like, it's just a bad Rosso movie. It's just like
There's no
a
reality
dingbat.
with
At
it would happen.
1.5, and then I'll agree with you on that.
That's what I'm betting on.
Hype level check, Secret Wars, Kai.
No. None.
No.
I've not seen Doomsday.
Bro, chill.
Hey, sorry.
It's like so passionate.
If Doomsday is good and like Infinity War, then yeah.
Fair. Okay, we'll move on now. Star Wars Starfighter. Box office prediction. That's the Sean Levy directed, starring Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling.
I don't know.
I would
You've
say
seen Blade Runner. You love Ryan Gosling.
I'd say maybe 400.
Really? 400 million.
I'm going with 500. Yeah, I don't have that much faith in this project because to me, Sean Levy I don't feel he has any specific passion for any genre.
Deadpool.
He did one movie.
Yeah, he did one movie.
Yeah, and that movie got like 1.4 billion. I'm sure he can just jump into Star Wars and get a good, solid one out of it.
I don't know if he's right for Star Wars. And again, and that's not to say that I think I know who's right for Star Wars. It's just to me,
He feels like a Jon Favreau kind of guy. He can just kind of jump in and make it serviceable. Like, he's not going to do something bad, but I don't think he can make things great. But something that people can go, be entertained, enjoy, and leave. I think.
but I don't think that's what Jon Favreau does. I think what Jon Favreau does is he's really great at building an outline for where something should go and be. Right? He's great at building those outlines. I don't think Sean Levy is that. I think he's great at popcorn entertainment.
Exactly.
And that's different from Favreau.
No, Favreau does that with his like non-Star Wars stuff. I think he's been more like instrumental to the future growth of Star Wars for sure.
I agree, but again, I think that's different from what Sean Levy does well. What he does well is like very, very hard popcorn entertainment. What Favreau does well is like blueprinting out.
Well, Lion King didn't do shit for that, did he?
Who?
Jon Favreau.
Favreau?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, but like Jungle Book was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like 700 million. I mean, Ryan Gosling is a draw on his own, and it's Star Wars. I'm going.
I don't think Ryan Gosling is necessarily just a draw on his own. Otherwise, Fall Guy would earn lots of money.
It did earn lots of money.
Did it?
I think it did pretty decent.
I thought it did really middling.
In relation to its budget.
Didn't it have a high budget?
I don't know. I can't
I
remember.
think it did
I'm
have
pretty sure it did well.
150.
I thought his budget was high and didn't
I think it
earn
did
that much.
decent.
Okay, what did it earn? Okay, it earned 181 and its budget was 125 to 150.
Okay, so I didn't do very well at all.
No. So I just don't.
But the director behind that isn't as good as.
No,
Sean
I'm just still like it's weird. I have this weird thing against Sean Levy. I just don't have faith in him, even though he's producing all these successful like films. I just don't have faith in his vision behind creating something with a very specific feeling. All his movies, to me, they feel like there's nothing behind it. It feels corporatized.
Right. I mean,
It's like he's a
I can
corporate's
see
best friend.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that. But I think he does make movies that people can go to the cinema and enjoy. Just casual moviegoers.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's what people want out of Star Wars.
Maybe not hardcore fans, but general public. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying 700 million for that. Hype level check. I think you gave your answer.
I'm actually I'm mid on it.
Yeah.
I'm not low. I'm mid on it because I want to see where he goes with it. Mm-hmm. I don't have faith in him, but I want to see where he goes with it.
Fair.
And it's something new since new IP sort of movie since Rogue since Rogue One sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had Han Solo movie, but that wasn't really that was a pre-established character.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Fair. Nan, hype
Mid.
level.
Yeah, same mid.
Mm-hmm. Mid. Yeah, I'm mid just based on a curiousness factor. Okay, cool. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse box office.
What did Across get?
Maybe like 600 million. I know it did really well in the States, or North America.
I might go see if this released at its original release date, and if it was already, I reckon it would be like around about 800 to 900.
Yeah, it got 690 million.
I think it could still earn
It'll be 4 years after.
Yeah.
Across.
Yeah. So if it released like at it original, back to back, I think it would be around about that 800.
Yeah.
I think maybe 700. I think it'll make more than the second.
By 10 million.
Okay, 750. Then.
I'm actually straight on 750 as well. I think it's 750 to 800.
Yeah.
I think people now know it's an established good franchise. I think they'll go and watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 750 as well. I think that's a safe bet. Hype level check.
Hyped.
Hyped. Okay, we're getting through this nicely now. How to Train Your Dragon 2.
I don't know because we don't know how the next one's gonna go. I'm just gonna say round about.
Just will it be higher or lower than the first one?
I'm gonna say higher.
Wow, I'm gonna say lower. I'm gonna say by a dramatic amount as well.
How much did the second one make?
No, I mean like the first, like the original, the one that's coming out in June this year.
Yeah.
Is it gonna make more than that one?
Oh, more than that one.
Or below? Consider this. Is this the first live action remake that's a sequel to its original one?
If you wanna, yeah, not unless you count Lion King.
The Mufasa one.
That's true.
No, that's a
No, that's a prequel, yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
yeah, and that did awful. So I think, yeah, continuations of live action remakes might actually be really bad on a box office level.
It might be.
Yeah, but this isn't Disney, so that's my factoring into it.
Okay, man.
That's a good point.
Hype level check then.
No, mid.
Mid.
I'm mid as well. I really want to see how this live action one. I actually do think that there is a good chance this live action one ends up being quite good.
Yeah, I've heard good things come out of CinemaCon.
Yeah, and it just, to me, I feel like there's a lot of like attention paid to it. Like they put a lot of like attention to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it could be good.
That's fair. Yeah, I am low. We watched the second one last night, and I didn't like it as much as I originally did.
Don't you? I still enjoyed it.
It's okay, but not as good as the first one. All right, The Batman Part 2. Box office, since we just covered the box office.
Is it even being made?
Who knows at this point, eh?
Easy.
But for Nane's sake.
Easy 3 billion.
3 billion.
No,
No.
maybe like 750 to 8.
750 to 8 billion.
Yep.
800 million.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like 700.
700, yeah. If it's similar to the first one, I'll say 750.
Yeah.
Yeah, hype level check. What's up with you, Kai?
I'm hyped. Just because it's Matt Reeves. But
For now.
yeah. But again, it's so uncertain right now.
Yeah.
I'm just like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then it doesn't.
Yeah, I am mid. I'm very worried about it. Like I'm hyped if it happens, but we're hearing that he might not even make it. Just write it. So I'm very worried about it. What are you, Nay? Hype level.
Hyped as always.
Hyped as always. All right, Frozen 3 box office.
Probably 1.7, 1.8. Or beat whatever Inside Out made.
On the animated record, eh?
I think it's going to be like 1.5 or 1.6.
Yeah, somewhere around
Yeah,
there. Hype
yeah.
level check? Name?
No.
None.
Maybe mid.
I'm mid as well.
I think I'm mid. The animation quality in the second one was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. We're in our final 5.
Low. Oh, God.
Box office.
I don't think this is going to do well at all.
Less than 500.
I think this is going to be like 400 to 450.
Wow. Maybe around 500. Yeah. Depends. It could be good. Could be good. Hype level, name?
No.
Oh wow. You're a Lord of the Rings.
I'm
voice.
low on this.
Wow.
I'm low on this. And
But with
Andy
Matt
Serkis
Andy
is direct.
Serkis,
We have
to be hyped for this. He came all this way for the first time in Homerton. All right. The Beatles 2028 movies. 4 combined box office prediction.
Combined.
Yeah, because they all release in April.
I'm going to say like 300.
Combined.
300 or 400 million. I'll say 400 million. Oh, no.
100 each.
I'll say 450. I think the Paul McCartney one will just bump it up a little bit more.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll say, fuck it, I'll go $1 billion combined, 4 of them.
So how many movies are releasing then?
4 movies in April for
About
the
the
Beatles.
Beatles.
Yeah, one focused on each one and they intertwine, intersect together.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
that's
I'm
cool.
going to agree with you there.
Yeah. Industry impact. Any.
If it's good, then
Possible to tell. I think if it does succeed, it would just be lightning in a bottle and difficult to replicate.
100%. Hype level check.
yeah.
Sam Mendes directing.
Mid.
I'm hyped for it. Coco 2. 2029.
Coco 2. I actually didn't enjoy Coco that
I know.
much.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
looking at you like a
Yeah.
hype level check.
No, low.
Low.
I don't care about Coco.
What about box office?
I don't think it has the same level of like longevity as a lot of these other ones. I think it has some longevity to it,
Yeah.
but I think it's probably like 800.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'd go 800 too, actually. Yeah. And I'm low. I like Coco, but just it never stuck with me. You? Box office and hype.
I'm gonna say probably 900.
900.
No,
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I'll watch it.
Fair enough. The last two were Avatar 4 and 5. I will just skip to 5 because I feel like I've hijacked so much of this podcast. I'm so sorry. Avatar 5 box office, assuming 3 and 4 are great.
I'm gonna say 2 billion.
2 billion, assuming the next two are great.
High 2 billions.
I'm saying 3 billion if they're great, storytelling wise.
Yeah, but they're not.
No, 4 and 5. No, 3 and 4, sorry. The Fire and Ash and the fourth one.
No, I'll stick with
I still see a slight drop off over time, even if they are great, because I don't think that they're not doing the same thing as like what a Avengers thing is doing, what an MCU thing is doing.
They could do.
Well,
They could start a new franchise next year and then they could intersect for the...
No, they're not going to do that. So it's just not doing the same thing. You don't have all these separated movies where they're all combining. They're doing a very like linear kind of following one family sort of storytelling.
What if like Alien joins?
Huh? Alien what?
Yeah. Like the Xenomorph?
Oh, terrible. That would be awful.
Navi would win.
Navi, more of hybrids.
All
It's a new
right.
Jurassic Park dinosaur right there.
You've already got that tall thing from Alien Romulus. Like, imagine that mixed with a Navi, how tall it would be.
All right. Yeah, that's the future release slate. Those are all our future takes on the movies. We just started talking about movies way more in depth than I had anticipated.
As we always do.
As we always do, but final two potties, we're coming to the end. Fuck it.
This is true. Okay. Next topic. Now, this is going to be a little bit more sort of a deeper discussion. So, our final thoughts on the movie industry. Now, where do we see it going? Where will it be in 5, 10, 20, 30 years? And what is your final thoughts on the state of the future entertainment industry? So, I'm curious to see kind of where you guys land right now in the year 2025 about the current state of the movie industry and where you feel it's going. Where do you think it will end?
The current state of the industry.
Current state of the industry, where it's going, and where do you think it will end in 5, 10, 20, or 30 years?
I think it's heavily done by franchise and sequels, and I think that's never going to change across the next 30 years. I think we're going to still see the market flood with the franchise films. There's going to be new franchises that comes out. MCU may or may not still be around, who knows. Same with superhero films, but I don't think original films will be quite rare over the period of time. But there will always be like the original, one-hit wonders, good original films. But I think we're just going to get a mainly franchise sort of release slate, all based off IPs,
So
stuff like that.
basically what's been happening for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change.
So you don't think it's going to change at all? Do you think it's going to be a very IP-driven industry over the next 5, 10 years?
Yeah.
20?
What about the next 20 years? Yeah.
Yeah, I think original films are going to be rare. It's
Like
always
rarer released to cinemas?
Yeah,
Right.
I think it's just always going to be about franchise or some sort of source materials or some sort of remake, something like that.
Interesting. Yeah. I've just broken I'm going to break it down into kind of like categories because it's such a vast thing to try and like encapsulate in one answer. So if you said 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Correct.
All right. The first one being AI.
Yes, here we go.
It gets them excited. AI now, it's very subtle. It's not always disclosed and stuff like that, but it is being used, whether we want to admit it or not. In 5 years' time, I think it's throughout the industry quite a bit. Not to like the extent where it's kind of doing it on its own, but it's definitely used in ideation. It's being used heavily in a tool capacity. I think when you get to 10 years in the future, AI can start doing its own things. It starts to actually replace the workers. 15 years' time, I would say it starts to create things on its own. And then if I be so bold, in 20 years' time, you create the movie based on your own prompt. And I think at 20 years' time, there'll be enough capacity and enough learnings for the thing to be able to do that.
I think it's possible, but I still think what companies will do is they'll have a tight grip around it. they'll want to be able to curate that themselves.
Yeah.
And not
Monetize it.
monetize it instead of other people being able to just create their own entertainment. Otherwise, like, what's the point in studios anymore? What's the point in
I mean in the capability that we'll be
right? And the
able to do
capability,
that.
yes, yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a great point bringing up AI, because I think that it's that thing that is going to transform the movie industry the most. And now you talk a lot, Nan, about the death of original filmmaking, but if AI is capable of reducing the costs of filmmaking from say, like, you wanted to create a very specific, like, beautiful film for like $20 million, and it now only costs you $200,000, right? How many more original films are we going to get?
That's true.
Potentially a lot more
Yeah.
in 5, 10, 20 years. Like, I think that there is a capacity here for not just IP filmmaking to expand like crazy, but everything to expand like crazy. I think that all the limiters are going to be switched off when it comes to AI.
I'm curious about that stuff too, but I'm also curious on how the relationship between the workers and AI, and obviously like the corporate heads, because what are the strikers sign like a 3-year deal, and obviously AI is going to be more advanced and cheaper and stuff, to like have like scans of them in the background. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah, the actor stuff. Is there going to be more strikes? Will the workers even allow AI to enter the workforce? If every department just goes on strike and stops the entire Hollywood production, they can't really introduce AI until like.
I think they're going to strike and strike and strike, and then at a point they're going to lose because they can't strike forever.
Yep, I agree. I think that there's going to become a point where they're
going to have to compromise heavily.
the costs of AI are going to be so low compared to like paying an actual person to come in and then paying them for the wardrobe and stand there and shoot all day and hiring out venues and sets, that it's like, why would we do that when we can just like generate that? Like, you can use your likeness and generate that, or like, I think there'll be a lot of like what you could say like generated likeness. So there'll be people who have a very specific look to them. You know, they have like a unique look to them, and you'll be like, we want to use your likeness for this movie.
Yeah.
And we'll pay you this amount. Okay, cool, great.
Yeah, that's what it'll be at this in those days.
So that means in the next, say, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, the film industry is going to look very different.
Yep. I think AI is the biggest influencer of it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think further to that, there will be potentially a large separation between human-made films and AI-made films. Like, you'll see, hey, this movie was made without AI. People will be like, whoa, it's so handcrafted.
Yeah.
You know? And then it will actually be a selling point for a lot of people. Like, oh, I actually want to watch real movies. You know, like people who are like that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see real people, real movies, real emotion. You know, and it will create its own sub-segment, its own genre almost.
AI.
Yeah, non-AI, real.
Non-AI. I don't feel like anyone will ever want to go to an AI movie. Like, even the most casual person, if they see like on the poster, because regulations will say they have to declare it, made with AI, people are like, no, I'm not seeing a movie made by an AI.
Yeah, but I think that's our mindset nowadays where AI is new. The more that we be exposed to AI and use AI like ChatGPT and other stuff over those years, it's going to develop. So then soon that will become the norm.
Because what immediately, you're exactly right, what immediately they're going to start replacing is advertisement, right?
Yeah.
So what you're seeing on your short little clips, right, is all going to be AI generated. It's a slow death is what it is, and it's a slow ease into it until eventually they pepper in, oh, well, that actually, they use the extras in the background, those are AI, right? But, you know, the main actors aren't, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Then next we'll go, oh, well, that supporting character, you know, they only said a few lines, they were AI, but, you know, and then it will get more and encroach more and more and more to the point where you don't even realize anymore that, like, you're so used to it that you've become accustomed to it.
I think it'll get its own category in award season too.
Ooh, yeah. See, what about awards?
Like best AI film?
Yeah.
Yeah. Best AI feature.
Yeah. Or there might be a whole new like ceremony just for AI films. So it's something like Golden Globes, but every nomination is AI film. Like,
Like with the Emmys, they do the technical Emmys and then they do the actual Emmys.
Yeah.
They could do that. They'd have to recognize it, but separating it might be the best way to preserve both streams of kind of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Rather than just AI films just taking over everything, having those two, separating it out gives people the choice as well. I think that might be the best way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. And further to that, what happens to all of us? How do we all react when the best movie made that year was AI made, and you can't deny it? You're like, that. I'm sorry, but that was the best movie. Like, I felt emotional watching it, and it was just so well made.
What if you can deny it though? Like, you're talking about a hypothetical.
I'm talking about a hypothetical.
Do you think that's possible?
I think it is possible. I think it is possible with enough time and progress.
Well, it depends what you mean. Completely AI.
Okay, when I say that, I mean like...
So the AI wasn't prompted?
No, so the AI was prompted to, like... When I say, like, made by AI, I mean, like, everything you visually see was, for the most part, AI.
Right.
But it was still, like, edited and curated by a human.
Oh, okay.
Right. So that's what I mean. And to me, like, that's... You're basically so far into AI that it basically is just all AI.
I don't know what you do. I think in terms of, like... I don't know, from my perspective, since movies are, like, such a big passion part, it kind of destroys my passion. Like, I wouldn't... If I was to see AI do the unthinkable, create something that's better than any human-made movie, I would just be like... I'd have some kind of, like... I don't know, hobby crisis or something where I'm like... Yeah, like an existential crisis, but with my hobby. And I'm like, what even is filmmaking anymore? Like... I'd be questioning all of it.
I don't know, because, I probably would go through a similar thing, but at the same time, I think I would rather watch a really good AI movie than a really bad human-made one.
Depends what it looks like. I mean, like if I see the AI stuff now, it looks horrendous, and the people look completely fake. But if it can do that well...
I think over time, obviously, it will.
It's going to get better. But it's the unthinkable. I just don't know how I'd react. I think I'd be kind of distraught and heartbroken.
Yeah, I think AI right now, it's at the level of, like, really good, like, deep fake. Like you see in, like, The Mandalorian, with, like, Luke. Yeah. I think it's, like, at that level now where you're like, this is enough for me to watch it, but it's not enough where I'm convinced by it. It still looks a little uncanny.
Yeah.
Like in certain things.
Yeah. What about you, Nan?
I'll be mind blown.
Huh?
If that was the best film.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be as distraught as what you guys would be. I think I would just be like, okay, this might be the new norm.
Yeah. I think I would completely detach from movies because, I don't know, there's just something about the human element and something that I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. It's like with sports, if that became AI, like, I don't even know how that's even possible.
I don't know how that
and
would
it's
be
unthinkable,
possible.
right?
Yeah.
And, like, this is unthinkable in a sense too, but, like, if sports, like, they just made AI and it was just artificially made, the games, and, like, the players weren't real.
But that's a bit different because you don't know what the result's going to be. But with this...
Well, it's the same thing with a movie. You don't know if the result's going to be good or not.
Not really, because it's all about storytelling. That's the reason why we go...
But sports have storytelling elements to them as well.
Yeah, but you don't know who's going to win. I mean,
you don't know if the movie's going to be good.
Yeah, but that's what the synopsis is for. It'll tell you what the movie's about, and you go choose to watch a movie based on that.
There, but it can still be AI if it's cheaper and people still watch it.
Here's another thing, though, it's maybe you don't consider, is that because it is AI, it's able to create a level of consistency and quality that you don't get from a human. You hire a director, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know the quality level you're going to get.
But isn't that the good thing about movies at the same time?
You're right to a level, but I think that people at the end of the day, they want to watch something that they don't feel like they wasted their time watching.
That's true. But
and if you can really dial that in, then...
But then at that point, no movie becomes great because they're all just the same quality. Like, if I just watched the IMDb Top 250, I couldn't really differentiate the best from the worst because they're all fucking great. But, like, I can tell a great movie because I've watched a shit movie. Yeah, that polarization allows us to effectively judge on what we like and don't like.
You're right, but I still think that that what we'll have is people behind the scenes curating these movies to feel a very specific kind of way. They're going to try and create it in a very specific way, but the AI is doing a lot of the heavy lifting and making the scenes feel emotional and weighty and well shot and all of those things.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that a lot of what movies are right now and television as well, and in fact all entertainment, is it's hijacking the emotional centers of your brain. It's telling a story and it's hijacking those
movies are an
emotions.
empathy machine.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, that's what AI will be doing for the most part. It's just kind of emulating what a normal filmmaker does. It's just hijacking those feelings.
But if it's always great, then I think that's a problem.
Maybe that's the new...
I don't want
the
all
new
these
issue.
great things.
Everything is good and so nothing is great.
We need a fist fight to come through every so often.
I hate that movie.
That would be so bad.
All right. Well, that was a cool discussion. Unless anyone has anything else to add, but...
Well, I mean, I had like other stuff in here, like
okay.
cinemas. I think with cinemas, we're going to see a little resurgence over the next 5 years. And then as AI starts to come in, I think over time, it's going to be... They are going to go down. And yeah, they will be taken with them. They won't disappear. They'll be like a niche thing, like a record player. You know, that's the same with physical media as well. And there'll just be less of them. But
So it won't be like a Blockbuster where they're all extinct.
what do you mean?
Like, you know how Blockbuster, there's no more Blockbusters anymore?
Oh, the video store. I thought you meant like the actual, like what a Blockbuster is. Yeah. Yeah, well, they have disappeared, at least in our country.
Well,
right?
they're gone, man.
Yeah,
Like, straight up
they're
gone.
gone. I don't think movie theaters will ever go because I think people
It's an
love
experience.
Yeah, people love to just go out and go to a movie.
It'll be something similar to like theatres.
Yeah,
like
but
Broadway.
like I would say like something like in Auckland, like for example, our city, just cut in half in terms of the amount of theaters around, and those theaters remaining can still pull in a large audience. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, but over the next 5 years, I think it's going to be nice. It's going to be healthier. But in 20 years' time, I think things are going to be so messy and all over the place. I can't predict, but I don't think it doesn't look good for cinema.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, unless they enhance the cinema experience in a way that, you know, we can't foresee.
4D.
Yeah, 4D they could get like that, or they could, you know, have the screen kind of like 360 cinema or some shit. I don't know. Like, wouldn't that be insane though? Like, how would you even film that?
I don't think that's actually necessarily the way forward. I don't think that's what put people into cinemas to begin with. Is the whole like those added experiences. I think what kept people in cinemas to begin with was the movies, and it was really the only way for you to view that piece of entertainment at the time.
Yeah,
You know, was because you could see this anywhere else other than the movies. Now people have options, you know, and I think that's only going to get worse. I think that stuff like TikTok, you know, the short form media stuff, I think that's going to get worse and worse and worse to the point where...
in terms of addiction, like
Yes.
mass addiction.
Mass addiction to the point where...
Speaking from experience.
Yeah. To the point where, like, it's taking up so much of people's entertainment real estate that movies are going to... And I saw this comment the other day. Someone said, it's funny, like, you watch a movie and that's like watching a movie is like... It feels like you're being productive.
Right.
Because you have to like sit down and concentrate, and it's a very like thing.
That's sad.
It's sad.
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
sad,
sad. Where it
yeah.
used to be like throwaway entertainment, like, oh, you just sit around and watch movies all day. What a waste of time. Like now people watch them like, oh, I was productive today. I watched this and that. And it's like, wow, you sat down through the whole thing, sort of thing.
I didn't check my phone once.
You know, like no TikTok brain, just like you just sat through the whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So I think that it's that's going to get worse to the point now where the proliferation of like easily AI generated high quality content is going to be like so it's going to draw so many eyeballs to it for so much time that people just aren't going to have the need anymore to go to movies because they get most of their entertainment.
So you think extinction is on the horizon for cinemas?
I think that it's going to be critically endangered.
Yeah.
Critically endangered. I don't think it'll ever go extinct. I can completely agree with you.
For an example, just to put a metric on it, for just major cities like Auckland, Sydney, Melbourne, 1-2 cinemas still around? Like, what would be your kind of quantity for a big city?
Yeah, I think that you'll have maybe like 3 tiers. You'll have like the very small boutique cinema. You will have you know, a sort of medium size, like what we have here is like Silky Otter, and I don't know what the American equivalent is.
Silky Otter's petite.
Yeah, it's you know, boutique.
Yeah.
But it's not boutique to me that's medium sized.
Really?
Yeah, because they got several branches and everything. A boutique is
In
like
terms of the chain, yeah.
Hollywood Avenue. There's a boutique.
Or Rialto.
Yeah, it's more kind of.
Yeah, there's multiple Rialto.
Yeah.
Reading would be a mid-sized one.
Those are mid-size, and then I do think that you'll have what you'd be like. It's called like boutique big scale, where they do have a big screen, but it is still considered boutique. It's not a chain.
That's kind of like reading. Oh no, reading's a chain.
Yeah.
But reading is like the Titan screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think there'll be one of those per city, and I think that in all likelihood it will still be an IMAX.
Yeah.
Like they will still have an IMAX screen, and I still think that they will continue on to the future. But I don't think that I think the problem is that like we were having with that Avengers discussion, you can't sustain the whole industry on like those big tentpole movies just every now and then. You need the consistency of the whole industry, and I think that consistency will just deteriorate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of depressing conversation.
It is.
We won't all be covering this, so yeah. It is.
Well, I always do go back to what Christopher Nolan said in his speech for when he accepted the Oscar for Oppenheimer, and that's
we don't know where we're going from here.
exactly.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're going from here, and he's completely right. We don't know the future of cinema.
Yeah.
We only know that maybe right now we could be in kind of the final stages of this era.
Like last 5 years.
Yes, this could be the last 5 years of what you could say is traditional cinema. After 100
Cinemas
That's
could
weird.
be.
100
Do you think
something
cinemas
years.
could become like VR hubs? Where you just kind of go
Possibly.
on and you put a mask and you watch it with someone?
Well, you know what? It very well could, because what's stopping you from putting on like an augmented reality headset and then you get like the full IMAX scope, or even larger,
Yeah.
and high definition? You get the full surround
That
sound.
could
with
be a
the
way
headset.
to innovate the cinema experience.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. I also had like TV and streaming and then IP as well. The name touched on
Oh,
IP.
yes.
I think original films make a slight comeback. I think AI helps the original.
I
film
actually
thing.
agree with you.
And honestly, like, I mean, look at Sinners, biggest original film in what, a decade or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think there is potential for it to come back. I think there is IP fatigue out there, and just some of the things that are getting announced these days are just ridiculous. And I think people see that. People often complain about it, just casual people. So I don't think IP just continues. It's going to run out of steam. Yeah,
I think so as well. I think that actually the name behind the art will it'll start reversing again. It will become more important.
original.
Whoever made it will become important again,
Yeah.
because people will want a baseline to judge something off of, whether they think
Connect with the creator.
exactly. They want to be able to connect with. They're like, okay, I like these kinds of like. There's so much content. I need some sort of baseline for what it is I enjoy.
Yeah, just to kind of anchor their decision making.
Correct. Yeah.
I think maybe in terms of their whole IP thing, I think we shift to a point where it's not about extending the IP that's running now, but it's more so based in like finding new things and then building that IP up.
Something like Avatar.
Yeah, and I think they do that for another good 10, 15 years, and they realize that, oh shit, we can't find anything. Let's just be bold and creative and
100%.
AI help us kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about TV? Because since TV's dramatically changed over the last 10 years.
I think it's. Sorry, go ahead, Nate.
I think they're essentially going to become like mini movies now.
Always. In terms
Yeah.
of like visual scale or length or...
Bit of both. I mean, with Andor, we got it's not in terms of length, but like the visual scale looks impressive.
Very
like it looks like
impressive,
as if it's made in a movie. And then we touched upon it before with Stranger Things, and when you were going through the runtime of season 4, they were all like small like animated movie lengths.
Yeah.
Except for that final episode. So I think in time we're going to get accustomed to, those sort of hour and a half, 2 hour sort of episode long sort of content, and we'll just think it's the norm. It's not going to happen straight away. Obviously, it's going to go from like...
Yeah.
Because right now it's gone from 40 minutes to 50 minutes. We're seeing more 50-minute sort of episodes now, and it's going to like make little jumps like that over time.
With that comes more time between seasons.
It does, yeah.
Do you think that actually like stops this kind of like raise in like television's like scale and production budgets that like people were just tuning out because the season was 5 years ago and they're not going to rewatch it to keep up? Like, does that play a part or?
I think it depends on the series. Like, if it's something like that is insanely popular in the first season, people will stick around. It'll probably be like low episode count, high runtime sort of things.
Yeah.
Rather than like 10 episodes, 2.5 hours long.
I think that platforms like Netflix that have already dug their feet into the ground are only going to get bigger. I think that they're going to be able to really capitalize on content diversity because right now one of their, and this actually not right now, their biggest challenge has always been the cost associated with producing the content.
Yeah.
And what I think that will occur, firstly, with AI in particular, is that the first thing to go will be the production costs, right? You can cut things in 3 areas. You can cut your actors, the cost of the actors.
Like talent, yeah.
You can cut your marketing, or you can cut your production costs.
Would production costs include like the crew, like the directors and the
Correct. The visual
employees?
effects, the everything that requires the cost to produce it. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first thing that AI takes over. The VFX, it takes over
Like little departments.
the little departments,
But
and
like
then
makeup and hairstyling. Can't
Well,
do
like-
any of that.
no, you can't. Well, maybe you can. Maybe there'll be a way to prompt a specific type of makeup style, and then you'll have
Tesla
enough.
bot.
Yeah, I don't know.
What are they called?
What?
Optimus?
Is that what it's called? No, the Tesla bots.
Yeah, I think it's called. I don't know. I thought it was called Optimus.
Optimus.
Yeah,
That does
my
hair and makeup
God.
from now on.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the first thing, and what that will result in is really low budget, high quality stuff. So you're going to get more volume
Yeah.
from your streaming services, and if you get more volume, you get more subscribers, right? You get more people. You have more diversity in the content,
Yeah.
and that's what will start happening, I think.
Does it seem like we're all of our predictions are quite dire and depressing in a
It
sense?
does.
Yeah, it does.
All
It could be
right.
it could be the complete opposite, you know. Like
could
cinemas
be.
could be back, you know, there are AI films that are helping bring it back and everyone's loving AI and cinemas, and then they'll have like chains for cinemas for like real films and cinemas for AI films.
Do we have any good predictions for the film industry?
There will be a $3 to $4 billion film. It's my prediction.
Well,
Probably.
I can at least say about AI, it will not be a good thing for the artists, but it will be a good thing for the consumer. Because the consumer will win a lot in terms of content variety. I don't know whether that's a good or moral thing in the end. Probably not.
Yeah.
But I think that we're going to get a lot of projects that we thought we were never going to get. You know.
That's true. Yeah. I think diversification of content, there'll always be something that you want out there. I think that's one of the positives that you can
Correct.
take away from this. If you're someone that loves movies and are worried about AI, yeah, you can really twist it into a good thing if you really think about it and be excited for like a very interesting future where you can kind of get everything you want from a film perspective.
Yeah.
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 You just have to kind of push away the human element of it, which is it is depressing and it's hard to do.
It is.
I empathize.
I think that at least the most positive thing that can come out of this is that I think that there are a lot of creators throughout the world who are going to be able to exact their vision because of lower production costs. And I think that yeah, that's probably actually it. Yeah.
What we need is a device where you can scan yourself and your friends, and it puts you into the characters of the movie, and it has your like face and
I
body
want
on
to
it.
detach, man. I don't want to be in a movie.
No,
That'd
it'd be
be
funny
fun.
as to watch us. We'll put us in like a Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I'll put you in Good Boy, the dog movie.
No, don't put me in that movie.
Elden.
That was your most anticipated.
All right, moving on. We are going to the not-so-quickfire conversations. We've got a few good ones here. The first one is the movies that made us who we are. James, I'll start with you. What are the movies that made you who you are? What got you into cinema? What shaped you?
These are some deep conversations here.
They are.
They're not so quick fire.
No.
Some movies that shaped me who I am. But let's just start with the obvious one, which is Inception. I still remember seeing that movie for the first time quite vividly. I'd always liked movies just for the enjoyment, just going to it. It was always a way to escape. And I don't want that to kind of sound depressing from my childhood, just wanting to escape. But I always enjoyed going to the movie theater and just getting immersed in another world. But with Inception, it kind of showed me the power of the film experience. And like when you're deeply immersed and engrossed in a movie, that's what Inception showed me. And it kind of just took my interest in movies to a passion in movies. And I just wanted to kind of find other movies that could make me feel that way again. And that's really where Inception kind of, changed everything for me. And that's why it remains as my favorite movie to date. I always have just like an endless stream of love for it. And I always continue to watch it to this day. Other movies that made me who I am, I don't really know. That's always like the main one for me. We'll go around the room and hopefully I can find one when it comes back to my turn.
Okay, so that started the journey, was Inception.
That started the journey, yeah.
Nice, okay. Nayan.
I actually don't know. I'm pretty sure the movie that really got me into movies, I didn't even see in cinemas, or I've never seen in cinemas, which is Jurassic Park. I genuinely cannot remember me watching that in cinemas, like either the first time, second time, or recently.
Yeah, I saw it in cinemas. Did we go?
No, I mean, no.
Wow.
I can't remember. I'm convinced that I've never seen it in cinema, so I really hope it re-releases so I can end that. But yeah, I think that was just one that me and my sister always used to watch, or she just watched with me because I wanted to watch it. I was in my little dinosaur phase back in this, back then, and just the fact that it was like sort of scary but like so fun. And it was a good adventure film, a good score. I think that's where I really started getting into film scores as well. So, yeah, and it's one that I'll happily rewatch like 1,000 times, which I'll probably end up doing when Jurassic World comes out. I'll watch that. Not sure about the others, I might, but yeah, it's just a real good film that I really enjoyed and really connected with. That kickstarted the career of movies for me.
Nice.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, the earliest movie I remember being like in awe of and like, oh, that's my favorite movie now. I was quite young. I was about 10.
Yeah.
It was War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
I know, random, right?
Yeah, really random.
I was 10 and I think it just itched a very specific kind of like, it felt very real. Like it was the first kind of like movie that I was like 10 years old, I was like ready for.
Yeah.
That scratched this itch of like immersion where I was like, I as a kid, I was always like obsessed with like what an alien invasion would look like. Like I was always like interested in the alien genre.
Yeah.
When they did that, they were able to do it in this very like grounded way, similar to what like Nolan did with Batman.
Yeah.
Like they did this very like grounded version of what an alien invasion would look like. And that for so long, for probably like 3 or 4 years, was actually like my favorite movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah.
And then the movie that really kind of like got me into movies, and it was a very like slow ease into it, is that we would always, my sister and I would always used to go to like Video Easy, which is America's Blockbuster, really.
Yeah.
And we would just we'd pick off 5 movies off the shelf we'd never seen before. We'd bring them all home, and then we would like walk across the road to go to the supermarket, grab like snacks,
Yeah.
and then just like binge like
Yeah.
3 movies in a row. And then you would see such a variety. And, at the time I was really just like partaking in entertainment. But it wasn't until I think weirdly enough, I watched The Pianist when I was like 11.
Yeah.
And that movie to me, it like flipped a switch for me where I was like, oh, this affects me.
Yeah.
Like when I'm watching it, I'm feeling things. The fact that it's Roman Polanski. But that to me, like, again, it's not my favorite movie by any means at all. And the same with War of the Worlds. They're just movies for me that they did something to me that I know they changed my perspective.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like quite a bit later on, where I started developing a taste. I suppose when I was like 14, I started developing a taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the movies for me that made me who we are, made me who I am. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can we go back to you? Is there anything else?
See one La La Land. I think for me,
Ooh.
I think La La Land came at like a very interesting time in my life, like kind of at the start of when you joined movie games. I think that was our first run at kind of the award season.
It was.
And La La Land talks so much about like, passion and like building something. And that's kind of where I was with like movie games at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, I think I just kind of got over like my first like heartbreak. So I could kind of understand kind of the consequences or choice at the end of that movie. And just it being like a total, I don't know, just being great at everything involved in filmmaking as well. It's just like, a movie that's kind of always stuck with me for that. And because it's just so real and it's like consequences for the character and like you can't have everything, but you can choose to have some stuff. I don't know how to word it, but yeah, that one's the one that's kind of stuck around and hit at the right time. Like if I was to watch it now, it wouldn't affect me as much because different place in my life, different ambitions, different circumstances. Yeah.
It's funny how movies, they change based on where you are at that point in time. Like a movie, like when I'm 10, like War of the Worlds affects me so much, but right now I'm like, I just like see the problems with it. Yeah. But like, you're at a very like, you're kind of at like almost like a vulnerable point in time to let something in. Yeah. And those are the ones that end up like changing you in weird ways. So it's interesting.
It was interesting.
It's interesting.
There's other ones like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Oh yes.
Like the culmination of something that I'd grown up with. Like
yeah.
physically growing up. That was pretty intense for it to come to that like culmination. And I would say the same goes for like Avengers Endgame, that kind of build up to something that's so massive in scale.
Yeah. Spent 10 years off your life watching.
Yeah.
Getting this connection with characters as well.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
And so watching that for the first time, it's like, I remember that. And those were good.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, following on from that, you have 3 movies that you are allowed to keep and watch for the rest of your life. Only 3. What are they?
We'll just do one at a time, so I have time to think. First one's obviously Inception for me.
Yeah.
I've rewatched it loads of times, and I always love it more.
Fair.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nayan.
Mine would be Dark Knight.
Favorite
movie of all time. Batman as well, and Christopher Nolan. He reinvented Batman to who he should be, not some fake ass clown that Tim Burton did or Joel Schumacher did. So definitely Dark Knight is in that for me.
Oh, fair enough. So we've got 2 Nolan ones. Me, it's
Make it 3.
probably Tenet. No, it's probably Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh yeah. Good shout.
To me, it's just like the perfect adventure story. It speaks to me on a lot of different levels, not just because I'm Kiwi, but also because it's just something I watched very, very young, and it was hyped and built up for me as well. My dad had artwork of it around the house and stuff, like Lord of the Rings before it, and I knew about Lord of the Rings before the films were announced.
Yeah.
So it was always something in my head. And it's probably Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I remember when that movie first came out, and like me and my mum were going to the movies, and I really wanted to see Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and she wasn't taking me, and I was like getting like real angry at her. Like I was like throwing like a tantrum, but she took me to Shrek instead. I didn't know what that was. I came out of like, that was a good movie about Shrek. Yeah. And I never saw Fellowship in cinemas.
Yeah, you didn't get the same sort of impression on it. Yeah. First time around.
Next one for me, The Hangover.
The Hangover. The comedy.
Comedy is probably my favorite genre when it hits right. It doesn't hit right often at all. The comedy is so hard to do.
Yeah.
Especially for like very particular types of comedy that suits you. But Hangover is one that's always like stuck with me. It's just one I can just rewatch endlessly. I can always laugh at it and just have a great time in it. So if we're talking about 3 movies for the rest of your life, I want one that I can watch for the rest of my life. And The Hangover is one that I can do that. Yeah.
That's really good. That's a good one. Nay.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I can't knock it. You know, I can't knock it. It's such an entertaining movie.
Yeah, and it's one of the childhood movies for mine. So, and I can easily watch it over and over again. So, it's there. It's number 2 for me.
I'm gonna go Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh.
Yeah,
The
'cause
winner of our fight last week.
I think it's just the rewatchability of it. Again,
Yeah.
I can just sit down, I can watch it, I can appreciate it for what it is. It's just this fast-paced piece of entertainment that you can pull some appreciation out of each time. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna need something slower for my final one. So yeah, I'm gonna go Mad Max Fury Road for my second. Something that's just very tonally different from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
from pretty much everything, in fact. Yeah. Nayan, what's your final one?
I'm torn between 2 movies, and I can't decide.
It's going to be animated, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
I'm tossing up between Interstellar and Back to the Future one.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
You're going with your just your top.
Yeah.
Top of your top.
It's because they're ones I can easily rewatch, and I don't have a problem. But with Interstellar, it's like the score and everything. It's like my favorite film score of all time. And like obviously, whenever I have a bad day or a sad day or whatever, I can easily just chuck on that song and just get
It's a great
lost.
movie to sit down and like get the emotions out.
Yeah.
You know, like say you've gone through some shit, like some like hard things in your life. You like sit down, you watch that, and you can just like kind of like vent a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with Back to the Future, it's just I love that movie so much. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And I know I like do a yearly rewatch of that trilogy every single year since I was 12.
That's tough. Considering the last 2.
I don't mind the second one. It's the third one that really I can find entertaining parts in the
one's
second
amazing,
one,
though. Yeah.
but the third one is a slog. I'll go Back to the Future.
You Back to the Future?
I'll chuck
That's
that one
fair.
on.
That's nice. Yeah.
Wow. This last one's really hard. I'm torn between something whimsical and something really serious. Yeah.
Trying to think of my final one.
Wait, you've done your final?
I haven't done
No,
my
he
final.
hasn't.
Oh, you haven't?
What was it? Inception?
Hangover.
And Hangover, yeah.
Hang on. You didn't.
I didn't do my third.
Oh, we skipped over you. I thought you did all 3 at once.
No, I didn't. The third one's hard as well, but I think I'm going to go for something that probably could change if I thought about it heavily in depth and looked at like kind of all the pictures on all the movies on a page. But just from what I'm been thinking about now, I'm going to go Soul.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think Soul has one of the best messages of any movie ever. Just in terms of living life, that the point of life is to live. It's all in the little things, to be grateful for just being around. And it's such a great pick-me-up if you're like down, depressed, or really heavy life events happening to you. It's one you can put on and you can have this kind of profound experience on like the entire point of living. And so while I would binge Inception and Hangover constantly, Soul would be there to kind of pick me up in the dark moments of my life if I only had 3 movies for the rest. So that's and I just love the movie in general, so
Okay.
I would go with that. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I was very strategic in how I chose 3
Yeah,
movies.
exactly.
I could have gone with my top 3, but
You're trying to aim for like the most emotion. I'm torn between something like Interstellar and maybe something a little bit more like artsy.
you got to go into Stella since it didn't make Nan's one.
I might go Interstellar just because I think that like
Nolan.
in the future, like
We all had
We
Nolan.
all had Nolan.
yeah, like being like a parent or whatever, that will be like really affecting. It might be something that's like quite important to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Interstellar.
Stella, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
Nice.
one, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Now we're going to go on to our unresolved movie debates. We'll see if any perspectives have changed here. If not, if we're still stubborn, it is what it is. They'll forever never be concluded or settled.
They'll be settled off podcast when we're older in a retirement village.
Okay, so the first is Arrival versus Silence.
Oh, is that what ANS is?
Yeah. You went around for this.
Now, here's some context. Me and James had a big debate many years ago about what had better cinematography during the
It was for our MGA's like nominations.
It was, yeah. And James said Silence by Martin Scorsese, and I said Arrival by Denis Villeneuve. Mm-hmm. And have we at all changed our view on where we land?
Arrival's a better movie. Silence has better cinematography.
Oh, so no, that's the same. I think
Yeah.
maybe that might be the same view you had.
The cinematography was where we were like debating.
That's where we were debating,
Yeah.
but you've not changed your mind on the cinematography at all.
No, I think besides when the girl is in that like chamber talking to those aliens in Arrival, cinematography is fairly flat and standard. Nothing really speaks out beyond those impressive moments. But Silence was kind of like every picture's a painting.
I agree.
And highly
yeah.
polished. Yeah.
I think that what Silence had was it had really beautiful cinematography. I think it was more beautiful than Arrival.
Yes.
But I think Arrival's cinematography was more effective. And what I mean by that is that the shot choice was designed to evoke an emotion
Like
intentionally.
visual storytelling.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was not meant to be necessarily beautiful, but the frame was designed to evoke the emotion you needed at the time. And I think it aligns more with like a filmmaker's kind of shot choice. And I think that Silence aligns more with a cinematographer's kind of shot choice, where it's like the beauty and art of it is kind of the push.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that really... I don't know which one actually kind of results in overall better cinematography, or at least how it should be judged.
I think that they both have their places.
Yeah. Just shows how much we've matured.
We have,
Yeah,
instead
like-
of going, no, it's better, you know. So I think we could say that maybe we agree there's beauty to both.
Yeah.
There's
I think for a long time we found our compromise on that whole topic.
I think so, yeah.
And just, over time you just learn how to kind of, I guess, efficiently debate with someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of just like butting heads.
Going at it, yeah.
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 Okay. The next one is the outcome of the cinema industry. Now, about a year and a half ago, I said something really controversial. I said that I think the cinemas in particular are going through a slow death.
Dead.
Yeah, I think that their death is coming.
Not
Yeah.
death, you said they were dead.
You did say they were dead. And
Did-
that's where we got like...
Did I
riled
say
up.
dead? Did I say dead? I said I think that they're going to die.
You said dead in a present tense.
Okay, if I said that, then I didn't mean that. What I meant to say was that I think that they're dying.
Yeah.
Right. And now, if I were to probably give some more context to that, what I would probably say now is that, at least what I was thinking at the time was that I think that big cinema chains are going to die. Like the cultural norm of going to the cinema is going to die. Now, we fast forward to today in 2025, sort of a year and a half, 2 years on.
Yeah.
I think that it's not really degraded as rapidly as I thought it would. Mm-hmm. But it's not grown to a high level either, like back to where it was. I think that it's actually
2019?
it's exceeded my expectations. Like it's exceeded my expectations. I thought it would be looking a lot more dire.
Yeah.
It's not looking as dire as I thought. I still think it's inevitable. It's a matter of time, but I don't think it's going to align with the timeline that I initially gave it.
Yeah, I think the death of cinema, depending on where it comes, won't be because of viewing habits or streaming or television. It will be because of AI. I think that's going to be the thing that will be the killer of cinemas, when and if it happens. In terms of this whole like debate that was started, I think you're totally wrong, and I think we cooked you on multiple times, and we're proving it this year in terms of I always said 2025 and 26 will bring the box office back to levels that where it can be sustainable again, and we're 15% up on year to date on last year. So there's a lot of things to be positive right now, and. Yeah, I think they are going to be dependent on this next 2 years. The thing that was always like people kept forgetting was that the whole release slate from 2020 to 2024 all over the place because of COVID and because of the strikes that delayed so much stuff. And yeah, I mean that was really the reason. Now we have a full proper slate. We're good to go, and we'll see if people come out to the cinemas again. And I think we're seeing that. And you also got to consider like the political context, and the economic times. It is very hard to afford going to the movies now, and they are extremely overpriced.
Yeah, I mean, when people are still going to the movies to see shit films like Moana 2 and Minecraft, you know.
But people have to be a little bit more selective, so that's going to be resulting in a little bit less, people in seats. So,
I mean, I think that cinema should be immune to economic hardship because, take 2008 financial crisis, for example. That was the same year that Iron Man released. So, and that spawned the biggest franchise ever.
How did that movie even do, though?
It did all right. Made money.
Dark Knight released the same year and made $1 billion.
Yeah.
So I think that I don't think economic circumstances is a good excuse. I think that it should speak for itself. Cinema should speak for itself, and you shouldn't have to keep making excuses for downturns. I think that's downturns are just a result of reality. They happen, right? And it should be able to resist those downturns.
Yeah, but you're talking about the economic shouldn't be a factor in it. But then, and you use examples of Iron Man and The Dark Knight. We've had, Top Gun and Spider-Man No Way Home make, 1.9, 1.6.
Yeah, 100%.
There's always going to be standouts in economic times, but the overall picture looks different. I mean, I wonder if we look at the 2008 numbers versus 2007, see if there's an overall difference there.
Yeah.
But
I think, again, I agree. I think that what it comes down to is the overall picture. And what I will be interested to see what the overall picture looks like by the end of 2027, seeing how cinemas have sustained themselves over this time, because you could argue that it's an incredibly competitive landscape due to streaming right now, and if it can survive streaming, I think that it's shown to be incredibly hardy. Yeah. Because I was always of the opinion that streaming will result in a slow death. But now we do have the AI contender to come in and change things up.
Still think that's far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so cinema's at least got 5 years of kind of good times back again. Yeah.
I don't think my overall opinion or consensus has changed, but I think that I've been proven incorrect about the timeline of it. Yeah. That's not to say that no, well, hold on. That's not to say that I think that it's a home run win. I think that right now all cinemas have done is sustained. Right, they've been able to stay alive. Yeah. Which that's what surprised me. They've stayed alive. It hasn't gone the completely other way and you were completely wrong. Yeah. It's gone in the way of they've actually gotten through it. Yeah. Which is, to me, in my opinion, I didn't think that they were going to be doing the numbers they're doing. I just feel like the
death of something like that it's a long thing.
It is a long thing.
Maybe COVID's the start of it, but it's a 20-year journey to the death. Yeah. 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 I think we're very far away from it.
I wonder how it would have done it if COVID was never around.
It would have been good. It would have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think things would have been fine. I think COVID, the AI thing would have thrown a spanner in the works, so I think.
Yes. Yeah. All right, we're going to do the last two topics here.
It's a funny one.
Nayan, do you like horror?
Do I like horror? No, I don't like horror.
You don't like horror, so you still dislike horror even after
Yeah.
all these years.
Yeah, but I can appreciate horror films now, such as stuffs like A Quiet Place and Talk to Me. You know, I can
Okay.
appreciate those more. But it's just the shitty fucking Conjuring and the supernatural horror is just nah.
Okay. Unchanged. What about musicals?
Definitely not. No,
This is a man who doesn't change his mind.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
no.
He'll be-
I understand that there are good musicals out there, but there are more bad ones and ones I hate than there are good ones.
Musicals are hard to get right, but if they hit the mark, man, they're just unbelievably good.
Yeah.
Obviously, La La Land's going to be a great example of that.
Yeah.
But you need catchy songs. You need songs that have the storytelling element in them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hate watching like a musical and they just start breaking into song and it feels inappropriate and forced. And
Like Amelia Perez.
yeah,
Yes.
that's really bad. So I get the musical thing. Horror though, remember I was never a big fan of horror either.
No.
I've become a much more bigger fan of horror. Like
Wow, that's good.
for quality horror. Like when there's a good horror movie come out, like the Weapons movie coming out,
Yeah.
I can actually get in hype for it now.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could like at the start of the movie game's like journey, I guess. I could never really get hyped for a horror movie. But now I can.
Open-minded.
Yeah.
I said I appreciate horror.
yeah.
Okay,
Are you
fair
excited for
enough.
Weapons? Oh, you didn't seen Barbarian.
No,
You gotta watch Barbarian.
Yeah.
I do.
So good. So yeah, I think horror is just one of those. It's kind of like comedy where it can be great when it is, but like if it's a lot of the time it's not hit right.
No,
Yeah.
no, 100%. Okay, the last topic. Should Endgame have ended the MCU?
No.
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 Do you think that the quality of the MCU has dropped since then?
Yes. They're trying to like set me up.
I'm just asking questions. I don't know what you're on about.
Okay, what if everything since Endgame was great?
Then I would feel completely differently, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but the potential to be great in the MCU is still there. We just saw Thunderbolts being good. If it ended in Endgame, we would never have gotten that movie.
And No Way Home.
But do you think it
And
could be too little, too late?
Guardians 3 couldn't have ended.
This is true.
Yeah. So I just think that there's way too many like loose ends still. I don't think Endgame tied everything up.
We wouldn't have gotten Loki either.
This is true.
There's just so many, and I think with the MCU, there's just so many like directions they can go. You know, we get into the X-Men now. Sure, it hasn't been good. Sure, they needed just a plan after Endgame. That was what was wrong. It wasn't the fact that they should have ended. It's just that they need to constantly like just consistently have better stuff. That's really it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they just got way too ambitious after that. They saw the success of Endgame. They're like, oh, yes, we can make bank here. Let's make 20 movies a year and 15 TV series.
Yeah,
And-
that's really it.
Yeah, and they just oversaturated the market. But Endgame would have been a good finale if they marketed it as a normal MCU. I would be satisfied with Endgame as the final.
I would have been satisfied too, and I think that they would have like ended the Guardians and stuff. The whole movie would be different in terms of the ending. But I would have been okay with Endgame being the ending, but I still see so much potential out there. They just got to get a plan together. They got to stop doing so much, and just those little things that can actually kind of fix it. But maybe with the whole multiverse thing kind of coming to an end, we might be able to get that afterwards. Yeah,
Maybe.
But it is just going to be super hard to replicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right, particularly around like tie up the loose ends. I think though that the MCU should have really just tied up loose ends, and then it should have taken a gap of about 3 years, and then it should have set up X-Men. I think it should have just moved straight into X-Men. I think all of this transitionary stuff has done nothing but be a detriment.
Yeah.
To the MCU.
I think Endgame needed to be like kind of the pause, the final for a while. Like 2 months after Endgame, we had Far From Home.
Yeah.
And then nothing else released after that because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then we had some series and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, you needed to give the audience a spot to breathe.
Yes.
Because we had held our breath for so long until Endgame, and at the end we're like, oh. And then straight away we're back into more MCU.
More, and it was just kind of just endless.
Yeah, so I don't agree it should have ended, but it should have had like a a finale feeling, and then just kind of like a soft reboot, if
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
100%. Okay. Well, that's the 99th episode of Let's Be Real.
3 hours long.
Insane. Possibly one of our longest episodes.
I think it is the longest ever.
Yeah.
3
We've done like
hours.
specials before. where
Specials,
we've
yeah,
been
back to
crazy.
backs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But of a continuous episode, I believe this might be our longest.
I know. It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Worthy of the 99th one.
I think so as
Yeah.
well. It needed to happen.
It did.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you, James and Nayan.
Wow.
It's been an
All
honour.
good.
I know.
As
We're on to
always.
the 100th and final episode, which we'll all be hosting.
Yeah.
And that will be our hurrah, our
wonder-
final hurrah.
I wonder how that's even going to go. We're just going to play our games. We're going to cover some topics. Like,
I think it'll be a bit of everything.
Yeah.
I think there'll be some games in there, some topics, if anything noteworthy is out reminiscing about MG
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
past
so.
X amount of years.
just don't cover the future release slate. We'll be here for another 3
Yeah.
hours. That was my bad.
100%.
Oh, but yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that will be next Friday. We'll release the 100th episode.
Next Friday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before we go on a little trip.
Crazy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's been good. We're MG. This has been real.
Oh, what is this?
this is outro. It's the worst I've heard.
No, because let's be real. Oh, okay.
The Colonel Journal.
All right. Goodbye.
Peace.
See you guys.
Catch ya.